Live futures decidedly in positive territory to start the morning here with the NQ up about 0.22%. Likewise with the ES up 0.15%. The Dow, just a little bit below 0.1% in the Russell 2000. Likewise as well. Bitcoin marginally green on the day, as well as oil. Oil not as aggressively high as we had seen it in prior days, trading below $74 for West Texas Intermediate. There's a lot to talk about today, guys, starting with some numbers here, Dara.
Yeah, all these numbers, from what I'm seeing here, a little bit lower than expected. Housing starts coming in at 1.256 million versus 1.35 million expected. Building permits also lower than expected, 1.393 million versus 1.422 million expected. Housing starts month over month change, negative 9.8% versus negative 0.8% expected. Building permits change, negative 2% versus 0% expected. Jobless claims here, basically in line with estimates here, 245,000 versus the consensus here of 245,000.
All right, guys, today is Fed decision day, the second day of the FOMC meeting. Expected to have a Fed rate decision hold at around 2 o'clock. Then Jerome Powell, the Fed chair president, will take to the podium at around 2:30 and take questions, which is when we get a lot of volatility. But there's a lot to talk about ahead of that today. The Genius Act being passed here in crypto world for stablecoins. More on that on the rundown. Amazon looking to basically replace new hires with the AI, to put it lightly here. Meta looking to poach some of OpenAI's talent, guys. Marvell getting a nice boost up from a lot of rating agencies, almost to the tune of 5%. Uber, Lyft as well in focus as Google's Waymo continue to expand. Good morning, boys.
Morning. What? No ACB when your little crawl there? Aurora Cannabis goes actually up in smoke, but nice little bounce there for them. That was down over 20%. This morning.
We actually have news on ACB?
Well, they reported this morning.
Oh, nice.
It's not good news, but you know what? The good news is it bounced the dollar off of the lows. And the fun part about it is it bounced off of 420, because that's what it does. It's a Fed day today, but oh, my mic is bad again. I threw my mic in water.
I need to be more healthy because then I would be more sick. It's like you take the day off, Brandon takes the day off. Everyone's getting these sick days off. I think I'm going to be sick on Friday, potentially.
You already know.
I already know I'm going to be sick. Brandon already said I can't take Friday morning off. So unfortunately, I got Friday afternoon off. But Brendan's off, not feeling that well. So we'll do a great morning show here. Brendan off, Sharif Adera kicking it in, and we'll fix Neil's mic up there. So. Be well, Brendan, if you're watching this. But I was just kind of joking about that ACB there. I don't, this stock was at one point, I think, $15,000 or something, if you look back at it. I didn't even realize the run that some of these cannabis stocks actually had. Like I said, I don't look at this part of my account anymore, down probably, no word of a lie, probably 98, 99%. Hold on a second. That's what I said, but I'm not sure if that's true. Is it? Monthly chart here on ACB. Yep, that's right. 50. I must have looked at this before. Yeah, $1,500 at its peak, down to $5 today. So there goes Aurora Cannabis. So, it's tough to look at those stocks when you look at that like that. It's easier just to say, okay, after all the destruction and everything's been done, what is it doing now, right? So we get that reverse split. We've actually never even been back down through those levels. So this is one that's actually worked. Up to $3, 350's holding, as Neil said, 420 coming through there. But anyways, that's just a little weed Batman action. Marvell again here today. Been touting this name for a while. It's nice to see finally we get a move up for Marvell. We bought it right here at the 50-period moving average. That's a nice, a little bit higher than that, $64. Nice move up here. Rate finally looking like it wants to break out through that top. So Marvell go boom today. Now we just need Big Bear AI to go boom, which we got back to flat on that yesterday. But right there, $73, $74, a great little level for Marvell. I'm just figuring out the right one to put here on the note. So Marvell will be on there today, a nice little move higher there on upgrades. And then looking at $8 EPS, apparently, according to only 5, what's been booked out so far. We have AMD as well with yesterday's big trade, 2 days ago, big trade. We'll see if we can do something else again here today. It's nice to come in and see the NASDAQ up. Tried to buy a little bit of that dip in the NASDAQ yesterday, or in the S&P, didn't get filled. So, we did not buy anything yesterday, and I don't feel that bad about it. Today, we have a 0% chance of any movement in the Fed. This is the current Fed rate tool. 99.9% chance that absolutely nothing happens. And then you move forward to June, and you have an 85% chance that nothing happens. Then you move into September, and we have a 50% chance that something happens right there, or 37% chance that nothing happens again. So, it's going to be I'm actually going to close this. Well, I'll put it up here. I'll probably reference it again, but shouldn't be too exciting at 2 p.m., but we'll wait to hear what Fed Powell has to say. So Chair Powell has to say at 2:30. That's when the most.
There's
important.
probably a few things to be discussed with regards to, okay, all of a sudden now you have before you had tariffs and the economy, and now the concern is going to be geopolitical. Not that they can do anything about that. They're the Fed. What are they going to do? That's not their job. But another interesting fact: Goldman Sachs is ending its 3.5-year hiatus from underwriting SPACs. Goldman Sachs back in the SPAC game. Why? Because, things coming to market have been blowing up. And whether that means that the market's frothy or not, I just think when you start to see signs like that, you get a little bit of froth. I'd be a little bit skeptical of any SPACs that continue to come out. But the IPO game, on the other hand, still very much let's just say healthy, pretty, all that stuff. CoreWeave, it's only at 1% today, but still very much breaking out on the daily after ripping some faces off yesterday. And it's plums today.
Thank you for the plums.
Thanks, Randy.
That's
all right.
That's bananas, man.
That's.
Randy
likes GM.
He does?
Yes. You were opining about GM. It's no more Rivian Randy. I think we're now GM Randy.
I don't blame giving up Rivian, but
Sharif and I had a conversation this morning about the new Corvette ZR1X, which is their hybrid successor to the ZR1, which is ICE only. And then we got into electrics, of course, and Cadillac. And honestly, GM has done such a fantastic job with the electric Cadillacs. I was beyond impressed at the auto show this year. The Escalade IQ, which I think again is a condo on wheels, but it's got more screens than an IMAX theater. It's just it's amazing.
What do they want for those things? Aren't they way
large?
That's
large.
Oh, man.
But no one has that money anyway.
It's a lot of brisket. But anyway, GM's done well with the electric side. Yes, they had the lower end models like the Equinox and the Bolt and the Volt and all that, but the Cadillacs were impressive. So. Ooh. Hats off. And there's a lead there that I think Ford could follow and Stellantis and the other.
Well, it was GM that went all in on the hybrid.
Right.
More than anybody else, which probably works better than
they had to. Toyota's been building hybrids for how long? 20 years? So get in the game and put your best effort forward, and they've done it. And the Cadillacs, there's lots of lyrics on the road, and they're all over the place. And they're a good-looking vehicle inside and out. So, yeah, hats off to GM.
There we go.
I don't know why. It's probably because when they came back to market there in 2010. But I was going to say GM here on a monthly chart still looks like there's, obviously lots of room to run. But it's still holding up pretty good. So right there for GM. This is a monthly chart. So just kind of looking.
It's going to put it against
not much going on. So we'll wait. Yeah, $45 or so would be great. Like that kind of a dip by there for General Motors just on a monthly chart looks pretty good to me. So, I just wanted to zoom it out because I was thinking not much has happened in GM. We don't talk about it too often. And then all of a sudden, this is what it looks like on a more recent daily chart. So, GM just kind of hovering around there. Yeah, my whole problem is just the price of it. Just the SUVs and the Corvette and things like that. Obviously, they're really, sexy cars and they have all the bells and whistles, but it's just probably a little bit outpriced for many, but... I think that's the same problem with the Lucid. Like those Lucid Airs are really nice, but everything's expensive.
I think the key thing when you're looking at GM is everything's a comparative game, right? The stocks that we look at, there's nothing exciting about GM on a general basis, but put it up against that same chart that Sean had. Put that up against the Ford chart, and that's all we're probably getting at there. But before I go back to the desk, I feel like it's been a while since we've at least looked at Rivian. Whoops. Oh, there's my daily chart behind e-signal. And, Rivian, the last time it was down here, it bounced about as clean as a stock can bounce off the 200 period moving average. Like it's not to the penny, but that's about perfect when it dipped into $12.50. And because it's in the midst of a pullback, it is worth mentioning that Rivian Randy's not here, but we're getting pretty close to what was the most recent support. Like this stock has a problem at like $17. If it starts, you got to stop holding $10, $11 around here and eventually put in a good higher low. The 200 period seems like it could be a good spot for that to happen, and I think that gets tested pretty soon. Let's head right back on up to the desk, everybody. That's your little auto segment without talking about Tesla, which we will a little bit later, obviously.
Guys, let's talk a little bit about what to expect today from the Fed at around 2 o'clock. So, widely anticipated that there will be no rate cut. That is the Fed rate tool there. 99.9%, boys, that we stay the way that we are. We're going to keep an eye on that, but we also get the dot plot, which is the Fed projections for the interest rates going forward. The March dot plot indicated that there would be 2 rate cuts in 2025, but now you got the likes of Bank of America basically projecting no rate cuts in 2025. Goldman Sachs, however, sticking with that 2 rate cut forecast there as inflation remains low. The data shows minimal impact by tariffs so far, but you have some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, for one thing, I've really only seen, in terms of changes, people are expecting 2 rate cuts, but initially we were expecting September and December. Now I'm seeing some people after last week pushing to September, October. So we're going to get the second one a little bit sooner rather than later. Here's the initial jobless claims chart here. So this goes all the way back for about a year. As you can see, there's been a little bit of a spike recently, a bit of a gradual increase. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, we know that employment is part of the mandate. Initial jobless claims kind of gradually rising could be an issue. And I've also heard some analysts say that we're likely to start. We've always talked about when are we going to start seeing tariffs impacting the numbers. A lot of people are expecting it's going to be in the upcoming PCE print. So watch out for that because that's when we're expected to see more of a shift.
And right now we've got the tensions in the Middle East, which could obviously have an effect, on the price of oil. And that could move things up quicker rather than later, obviously, as that reacts quite quickly, guys. Anything that you're looking at today for the Fed?
Important thing is to remember on this, say if you're tuning in for the first time, or maybe you're a regular viewer, you like the morning, but you're not as big on trading in the afternoon or Fed type days, you try to separate things and understand that whatever might be working or whatever you're going into 2 o'clock, it's one thing to hold in the money, but we tend to get violent shocks. Now, I'll use yesterday's turn as an example, but I'm not saying that this is going to happen. But the type of notion where you can be trending in one direction or another and then just flip on your head, even though there's no change. This can happen, especially after 2:30. So, when you're sitting in the money on things, fair enough. We always say have stops. I like to use trailing stops out there. The other thing to keep in mind is maybe you don't want to slip into some kind of a position on a stock. If you're trading something on a technical basis that loosely follows the market well enough, and you get a trigger at 155 or something like that, just understand that all your technicals might not matter for a little bit when 2 o'clock hits. And then at 2:30, it matters so much more during the Q&A what gets said. Because what we need to know now is the Fed was pricing in, when you looked at their dot plot, they're pricing in 2 cuts this year, right? And it doesn't seem like the market's on board with that. Do they change that stance at all with the changes that we've had? And do we get any indications that they're changing that stance? Because if they back off of those projected 2 cuts, which the market already kind of doesn't believe, I don't think it bodes that well for the futures.
Yeah, look, I mean, with the 99.9% chance of nothing happening, I don't think anything's going to happen. So, yeah, if we're going to do anything, maybe it's just like sort of looking at the cues here and just trying to think like, you can look at the ES as well. It's not, it's neither here nor there. I would just think that, if he does talk a little bit, maybe dovish about future rate cuts, then I could see us potentially taking out sort of this weekly high here of 537 on the Nasdaq. And then if it seems more hawkish, then I would think that you're going to look for, this 526 area to break. So I would just like to play this game like near these sort of edges, right? If we kind of just fizzle out like we've been doing here this morning anyways, it's not moving much, but if we kind of fizzle out and just hang out here, then yeah, I mean, it's as expected. I don't, like what we're doing right now is waiting on the war and waiting on a U.S. retaliation. You know, that's what the market's waiting for, and that way you can, you know, move down. I think that I don't know why we're looking at GM still, but you know, this is more a play, you know, come on chart, let's go. Something like this with Apple, you know, if it turns out that the market wants to head southbound, look for some stocks that have been going southbound, you know, like an Apple, and if it's a positive number as well, then maybe go over to the chip space. That's been pretty hot lately, you know. So I would just sort of stay in the pocket with what you're doing. We're not expecting anything to become too huge. I mean, I think Sharif just talked about the oil sector. You know, XLE is very extended. I'm actually thinking of just tapping out of all of my oil, just because tapping out of oil, I guess that was okay. But, you know, it's a nice move up here. And I was thinking, unless it's like there's that Warren Buffett quote, like, the world only ends once, you know. And if there is that huge monster war that happens, XLE going up to 98 or these all-time highs is great, but there's no way I have enough in this that would matter as to what would happen to the rest of the market, right? So for me, I still think you play it within the ranges, and you kind of have to think that any spike in volatility or anything like that is probably buying opportunities. Thank you, Randy. So
Timing.
I would, yep, no problem. I would just say that spike in volatility for me is buying opportunities. I don't think this, you know, earnings have been great. Some of these companies seem to be working on more efficiencies. We talked about that, but we will talk about it with Amazon. You just mentioned, you know, some of the EV space starting to heat up again. We talked about more electronics, more AI hitting, and companies becoming more efficient. So I think that, you know, there is a path to
cloud software.
There's just a path to more profits for many of
nuclear,
these big names. And then, yeah, nuclear, I think, is very frothy right now.
One little note on oilprice.com this morning. They had a great note on battery electric grid storage in the North American market being up over 60% year on year. Tesla plays in that space. So this is big scale storage for grids, for AI data centers, for, you know, growth is huge.
Yeah.
So grid scale battery electric storage on the horizon.
A small piece of revenue for Tesla. I mean, they got more than you. It is growing. It's absolutely growing. Remember, Tesla is an alternative energy company.
How are they going to get rid of all these batteries? That's the other thing. You know, once they degrade enough, like you have.
That's future hour problem.
Yeah, no, I just think if everybody's rolling around in these things.
It's obviously a good question, but
after 10 years, I think, I don't know what it is, what a life of like a battery is, but at some point you got to get rid of them. I guess there's bigger problems in the world than that. All right, it's Miami Joe with your options plays.
South Beach.
South Beach Joe, I guess. I mean, Katina Man owes me a couple beers, a couple cold ones, so we're looking forward to that one there. Yeah.
I get to have beers with Joe. Like this is the thing that, you know, this is why it works out perfectly.
It's a good stuff, man. It's a good time. We had fun doing that. Oh, you sly dog, you sly dog. Anyways, guys, let's hop into some options talk here. We're going to talk about kind of what is the benefit from trading at the money, in the money, and out of the money. All right, so let's get into where do we reap benefits, and it's going to be kind of choose your fighter. Okay, so there's multiple scenarios that we can look at now. When we are trading and specifically placing these trades, if you're looking to buy an at-the-money contract, essentially the benefit is you want to really leverage your system, okay? So this is where you can take full advantage of delta, and delta we know that delta is the rate of change in our contracts. So what does this say if I'm buying in the money and at the money? So our deltas, let's take a look at our delta columns. This is when they're going to start to slowly increase. The further in the money we get, you can see our deltas are starting to run from a 1 to 1. What does that tell us? So for every 1 point move in the underlying asset, we're going to see an $80 change in the contract. So that's relatively close. That's on that specific strike price. We go further down the chain, you'll see that delta will be essentially almost a one-to-one. So a dollar move, a dollar contract. So that is essentially what you are looking for, to fully leverage your system in a one-to-one aspect, right? But there's also obviously a catch. If you don't continuously start to continuously appreciate in price, then you can start to lose time value. And that's very important when you're trading in the money contracts, is that you want that continuous appreciation, all right? So now when we go at the money, we can see that the delta is slowly starting to decrease, but that's also gonna affect our rate of change in the contract, okay? So for every 1 point move, you're gonna see at the money contract on IBIT, the contract is only changing around $60, $56 to be exact. So Bitcoin can go from 58 to 59, and if you have shares, you're gonna get that dollar appreciation. But with this specific contract, if it goes from 58 to 59, that contract's value has only changed $56. Now, where's the catch? Gamma. We know for all our options traders, gamma is at its greatest at the money. So now let's take a step ahead. What is the purpose of trading out the money? Okay, so say you know somebody who owns some 65 calls expiring December 19th. We're not going to mention any names, your boy Joe, okay? So what is the benefit of this? I want you guys to focus on the gamma, all right? So you can see here at the money, it's at its greatest. But the gamma is also fairly large at a closer to expiration cycle. The closer you get to expiry, the greater gamma can get. And that's when you are writing options, you can run into a lot of trouble because the fluctuation, your rate of change, that may sound complicated because that's what gamma is essentially to delta, is very vast and it can really wick you out. So you're gonna get a lot of fluctuation within those options premiums. Now, let's zoom out and head towards that expiration cycle, the December 19th. Now, this may be confusing, but now this is a strategic move. So you can see that the rate of delta's rate of change, gamma, is drastically lower than what it is at a closer expiration date. Well, Joe, what is the whole point of this? What this allows you to do is sit in further out the money contracts and further dated contracts and not have to endure such very tough volatility or extreme volatility environments. So that is the concept of why traders will buy further dated and further out the money, because it reduces your gamma risk. It reduces your rate of change. So when you're trading options, whether you want to trade in the money, at the money, or out the money, understand the concept of why you're picking those specific expiration cycles and those specific strike prices. So when you are looking to place on a trade, choose your fighter. It's either at the money or average delta, which can potentially increase. It's in the money for the greater delta, or it's further out the money so you reduce volatility exposure. With that being said, choose your fighter wisely, and I hope everyone has a great Wednesday.
That is always the key. Choose that fighter wisely, and unless you're playing GoldenEye, in which case there's certain rules about who you can and can't take. Shout out to you and appreciate you there, Joey Options, as always, dropping that options knowledge. Probably no options on this small cap runner, which is continuing to pick up in volume. This PTLE, I see a few people in the chat talking about this bad boy. And if there's a stock that's going to do 1 billion shares today, it's this one. It's already done over 100 million shares here. And what was interesting and what kind of catching the attention is a held bid here right at VWAP, just underneath the 52-cent level. So anyone trading this, you can obviously see it as well, but a bit of a held bid on a gapper. This is going to do a tremendous amount of volume today and a lot of liquidity. So I know this is the kind of name that is on Shreef's list. We look at all types of things here, but just watch this held bid at 52. If they lose that, I mean, there's a bit of a gap to the downside. And remember, these are always halt risks, despite the fact the liquidity looks really, really good on PTLE. I searched for the news on this and couldn't find anything recent, so still kind of digging to see what the reason is for the gap up.
Yeah, we're a few of us are heading out tonight to party with some of those campus traders. We keep advertising the campus program, so they're going to be coming tonight. We're going to go out for a drink, so that should be a lot of fun with them. All right, so TSLA, just real quickly here, 317.50, you know, up more than the market is today so far. Looking to hold this 315 area. It's done well for that. That was yesterday's sort of closing area right there, trying to get back there to the upside. Nasdaq fluctuating around. I think this is a decent level here for TSLA. We were just talking cars, and this was just the one name that I was looking at and debating putting this here, putting it on this here note today. But there's the 200 period moving averages at 310. So not sure if we want to test into there. And I was saying, like, look at Apple because of its negative trajectory, you know, and if we break below sort of where we've been holding right here of this 310, then yeah, I do actually. I'm not sure about 220 again, but yeah, Tesla, after a few days, like, I don't know why this day shows red. I don't know why some of our candles are showing red here, but, you know, big red day there. See if we can continue that momentum to the downside. I think Tesla does find a bottom somewhere here today. It could be right here at 315. So a couple ideas, and then, you know, some of the uranium names moving around a little bit here as well. We're going to go over our watch list and all of that just very, very shortly. But SMR up 3%. Huge move down yesterday for sure. $45 down to 39, just trying to find its ways. These are definite. I know Randy was just talking about battery and all that stuff on the grid, but I think some of these uranium names are in a bubble big time. So, you know, we'll wait to see when this pops and breaks a little bit lower as well. I'm thinking about a $40 break here on, well, 40 is not good enough, probably 39 break on SMR today. So we'll wait to see if that can come through. It sucks. I'm a holder of SMR, so it's not like I'm trying to hate on the stock, but nice move to the downside there. We saw what happened yesterday when it kind of broke some levels as well. Bounced off there, then broke it, and, you know, floodgates after that. So we'll wait to see if 39 can hold there on SMR. It might be a better hold. Like, it might be a good long area rather than a short area. Let's just see what happens as we open up. So, yeah, it's going to be good to go, man. 2 o'clock is Powell. You know, other than that, we'll just continue to trade like we normally do. Market will probably start to, you know, wane off a little bit, you know, 1 o'clock. I think
a little bit earlier.
I mean, I just think it's
unless
so market
headline.
yeah, there's so many things happening in the market that I think it'll continue to trade as normal, and then, you know, we'll slow down a bit, and then the Fed will come out, and then.
Oh, the other thing is we don't usually care as much.
Fireworks.
We don't usually care as much about crude oil inventories as we have in the past, but there's a lot of energy traders. Obviously, recently, that's at 10:30, so you do get crude oil inventories. Oh, and the other thing, Husa had an offering. And I just, as a word of caution, it's actually it looks like it was a great buying opportunity, but as a word of caution, sometimes you're going to have these gapper movers, and when you get the exuberance, the company raises cash. It's just the smart thing for them to do in a situation like this. So a lot of times you want to know if you're swinging stocks like this, you really want to know if they already filed for a shelf that they can drop any time, or would they have to react in a delay to be able to get an offering out there. So this usually applies to things like Husa. I mean, Indo is another one that rallied. But if you're wondering why the stock is down 8%, it was down significantly more than this. Like, this dropped all the way down to, it was almost like $13. It actually got to almost getting down to $13 here. And that was cut in almost half from yesterday's high. So just always be careful when you're swinging these types of stocks after a few days in this type of rally. But energy is still very much going to be in play despite what's going on with this name.
All right, guys, let's do the futures here. We're on the new contract, guys. So we've rolled to September contract. It's already doing more volume than the June contract, which expires Friday. So we're looking at the ES September 19th, expiry 2025. We closed out yesterday, guys, 60.40 on that ES September contract with the overnight high, 60.62 the overnight low, 60.17. So we're going to continue to use 6,000 as our support area with 60.50 as resistance. If we clear 60.50, the overnight high, 60.62. All right, guys, make sure to get the watch list every day. Adair prepares it, and we all use it. It helps you organize your day. And no good morning routine, guys, is set without a good watch list. It helps you know what's moving and what to organize in real time. So make sure to get that sent directly to your inbox every single day. Let's start with the first topic, though. The Genius Act being passed in the Senate, a milestone for stable coins. So the Senate approved the Genius Act by a vote of 68 to 30. Only the progressive Democrats held out. The bill will enable regulated issuance of digital dollars by private companies, including banks, fintechs, and other major retailers. The key requirement, though, is that you're going to have full reserve banking, monthly audits, guys, as well as anti-money laundering compliance. And you've got to hold these liquid treasuries, Adair. So for every dollar you get in, you got to make sure one goes into an equal area.
Yeah, and I think the timing of this is really key. We're already seeing a little bit of deregulation on the banking side of things when it comes to crypto. We know there's that reports that JP Morgan is going to be having its own digital coin. And also we have a time now where Circle, which is of course a stablecoin related name, is publicly traded. So it's a really interesting time. Absolutely keep an eye on CRCL here, gapping up a little bit with some volume. And it's also worth noting too that the crypto industry has been, I guess, highly credited with parts of Donald Trump's election here. They put roughly $250 million into the election cycle. Yep. So interesting look here for the crypto space, and CRCL might be actually one of the more interesting plays here today.
Give you guys an idea, in 2023, the amount of transactions that went through stablecoins was about 28 trillion. That eclipses both MasterCard and Visa combined, but it has not been passed. Guys, in the House, it still needs to go back to the House under a different name called the Stable Act. So we'll have to see, guys, whether this makes it into the president's office and on his desk by the end of the year.
Like everything, it's not across the finish line just yet, but hey, it's getting Circle the gap up there. Bitcoin's not really doing much down around the 104 level. Had a weak day yesterday. Circle seems primed, like it wants to break out this 155. I mean, you can sort of see where it turned out. Let's go to 15 minutes. This looks a little bit better. You can see where it's double top tier 65, and then you close on Monday, holding underneath that 55. Opening range had a single green candle that rejected at 54. So this seems primed for a breakout of the 155. Not necessarily a standard crypto name, but Robinhood. What's interesting, what I find interesting about Robinhood is just simply what's going on at the 75 level. If we lose 75 again, the wath of buyers that were down here 73 to 73.5, it just looks like a really good dip buy zone. And even if it were to lose that, you have lots of support in the low 70s to take another shot. It's this interesting topping range that Hood has got since it made its all-time high. It's still not all-time high, since it's a 52-week high. Since it's ground into this, what I like about this 75 area, and I've said this before, it's how it runs away from price. So when it rejects it, fine, it's a good short. But when we're breaking away from this, we're absolutely flying. So if we lose 75 today, I think you look 73, and if that loses, you look 71. But if we can just hold 75 and break out this afternoon resistance, 75.5, Robinhood seems primed to go. Like the name, crypto adjacent, let's just say.
All right, yeah, just a quick little look at some of the coins here. It hasn't been a good run here the last week or so, that is for sure. There's Tron coin, by the way, down. I don't know why we're still on that one. But here it is right here, Bitcoin. That's not right. It's not at 108. There it is right there. So that's what I'm saying. I just last looked at this 2 days ago, 108. Now 104. Ethereum's getting spanked pretty badly as well, down 11% over the week. Also Ripple XRP there, down 8% to 213. Right now, Solana 145, down 13% this last week. Everything in crypto to me seems like sell the news. So 16 for Cardano, 16 for Doge. Many of these names are getting hit. We last saw this. The highest I saw, remember, was 354. So now you're at 335. So you are starting to make moves down here in the crypto space. It does seem like we're having a problem getting through those all-time highs. So for me, I think it's just a wait and see, and hopefully you have enough money on the sidelines to go in there and start to buy any of the dips if you do like it, because the dips are in. I mean, look at how bad Coinbase yesterday from 260 all the way down to 250. So look at this 250 area here for Coinbase again today. Lots of supply, or I guess demand, down here in this area. You know, why are we stopping there? It was only 2 o'clock, right? We did have an opportunity to bounce back up. So now I think if you like in the short, fine. But I think the long somewhere in Coinbase around this 249 to 250 area. You know, like why did this happen yesterday and then the bounce back up? So, you know, I know the market rebounded a little bit, but I just think that that's a good little area there for some demand. So we'll watch to see if 250, 240, I mean 249 I guess would be where you would stop out. This is what a daily chart looks like. Definitely some coiling action happening. I don't know if, like I said, I'm not sure what springboards this higher right now until we get the next earnings cycle. So for me on Coinbase, just try to play the ranges. Like if you had noticed the same kind of supply up here at 259, then you would have had $10 or so. And I think you can notice the same thing down here if we can get back into 249. So $5 down, $5 up. I think you have a trade today on Coinbase. And again, you know, Bitcoin doesn't seem to want to do too much down here at 104.3 right now. So yeah, I think they're all buying opportunities, especially if your game is longer. You might as well buy these dips. But for Coinbase, 250 to 249 down there looks like an interesting trade.
Amazon, guys, in focus. Andy Jassy, the CEO, announcing that they will shrink their corporate workforce in the coming years as Gen AI starts really taking shape here. They're going to not hire for tasks that are repetitive as well as manual. The emphasis here is on scrappier teams who are basically encouraged to learn and adopt generative AI. Just to give you an idea here of Amazon's workforce, they cut about 27,000 jobs since 2022, and the company reported about 1.56 million employees globally, Adara, as of March. So a lot of people.
Yeah, and there's a little bit more context here too. So basically, what happened is Andy Jassy said in this blog post that he released yesterday that apparently the listings that are made, I guess, for ads and for services are much better when made with generative AI than made by people. The issue, too, is he released this yesterday just as a blog post. A lot of employees were caught very off guard. Apparently, lots of confused, sarcastic, angry Slack messages, especially because, Sharif, since Andy Jassy has become CEO, he's actually increased senior-level jobs, but they're doing job cuts in lower levels. So that's a little bit of a concern for employees. Interestingly here for the company, though. And
it's not the only company, guys, that we see doing this. To give you an example here, Shopify CEOs basically demanding now that their hiring managers justify new hires versus AI capability. Also, Klarna has shrunk its headcount, guys, by 40%, citing AI as a major contributor.
Well, I mean, their spending has been telling you this story that they believe in this future. So obviously, the behavior with the structure is going to also make a lot of sense. Amazon's not up much of anything today. Like you're essentially exactly in tune. Maybe, I don't know, like a point here, a tenth here, 100th or something like that above the Nasdaq. It's not going to do too much more, but there is a good zone. The only thing I had written down was 213.50 on Amazon, and it wasn't a high enough priority to make the list. That said, if we do end up dipping, it's kind of a flat day today. This could be the kind of level that we look back to in the afternoon on a Fed, maybe downward push, and we get that nice like rubber band type play. I like to have levels in play just because of that. But Amazon didn't really make the list. It's kind of inside the range. Nice upward trend. It's just when it breaks out the top here above 220, you know, I think Amazon gets some real juice when that happens. And, you know, it just doesn't seem like that's going to be the case today. Not on a Fed day. Maybe post-Fed, we get that rally past the 220 level. For today, if I see that floor and a nice base midday 213.5, I think it's worth a shot down there. But can't see what takes us there.
Yeah, so I looked at Amazon a little. Oops, AMZN a little bit today, and I was trying to find a trade, and I couldn't really pick one out. You know, like we're right near yesterday's low. I mean, you're not up anything. You're just following with the market. So when I just look at what happened yesterday, this is just yesterday, you know, that's a great support area. But if the market wants to go, you're gonna lose that real quick, you know. And I don't know if it's a good enough level to support the long with. And I'm gonna put the sticky notes almost out. So then I went into a longer time frame, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you wanted to go short at 215, you're going to run into some issues here at 214. So then I was thinking about these tops that have actually held. That's 214. So, 214 there, 214 there, 214 here. If for some reason Amazon does drip into that 214 level, I think that's a buy. So it was close to getting on the sticky note, but with that kind of a story there today, I would have thought maybe a little bit more efficiency back there to the upside because, like we said, we know they're spending money on AI, and it's good to put it to use and to work. And people will lose their jobs, and we kind of already know that. And I think especially in Amazon, and it sucks to say it, but like those low, the factory is where a lot of the robots and all that are just going to, make their way through. Tesla, we've seen, Amazon, any of the big major shipping companies as well. Some of those packers and pickers and stuff like that are getting replaced by robots and drones and things like that. So I think that that's eventually going to be the way, and those jobs are going to get lost. And I think it's actually, it sucks to say it, but it's better for the stock, if you can look forward instead of backwards and actually, get an aggressive plan to utilize some of the money that you've been putting into AI. So I really like Amazon. Amazon's starting, it might even be, I have to sort by percentage held in the portfolio, but I think Amazon is one of the top names for myself. So I really like the stock. I think if there's retail, there's that, or Costco or Walmart, and we've already talked about it. So I like Amazon for everything it's doing. I like it for the retail space. Like I ran out of body wash on the weekend, and it came the next day. It's like sometimes same day. And it was just like they had all the choices. I just get the Dove's men's line, whatever it is. It's
not the Old Spice.
Not the old. So you know what? Honestly, it's whatever it is, man. It's that big gray bottle. Boom. My son and I do it, and it's so funny because I use the same soap basically for everything, and it's like my wife and daughter have. Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is the soap. It's actually good that I am very frugal as far as the way I live my life, because otherwise it would be a huge problem. So.
And there's four different types of lotions too. That's the other thing.
I forgot. I got the Elf sunscreen. I got some sort of a sunscreen, the clear stuff. Yeah, exactly. It's the dupe. Yeah. So I got that in my Father's Day gift.
Nice.
So
who knew?
Elf Cosmetics doing good things.
How are they doing?
I don't know how Elf is doing. I was supposed to buy this at $70. Is what
$125.
Yeah. So. They bought that road. They gave $1 billion to Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber and Elf. I should have bought this at 70 is when I was told to buy it right into here, and I did not. So shout out to my wife, who is a much better stock picker than I. That is for sure. I'm probably one of the worst ones. Except for Marvell.
Elf looks great.
Marvell. Marvell is a big play right now. Not a big play, but we've got this in our account, and I'm happy with Marvell. And we'll get to that in a couple minutes. All right, Meta's poaching some jobs, and hopefully none around here.
No, Sean, you'd never know. All right, guys, Meta is reportedly offering bonuses, signing bonuses, that is, of up to $100 million in massive annual compensation to lure those OpenAI employees. They're looking to take talent. Altman revealed that the poaching attempts by Zuckerberg on the Uncapped podcast, but claimed none of OpenAI's top talent had actually accepted the offers. Altman criticized Meta's strategy, basically saying you got to grow from within. We know Zuck, though. He's aggressively trying to catch up in what he perceives as, Meta being behind with the release of Llama 4, as well as his goal of being one of the first companies, I dare, to achieve artificial superintelligence.
It's wild because it was only last week that we started seeing reports that Zuckerberg is trying to build this super intelligence team, and now we have almost daily updates to said team. We know that he's acquired a 49% stake in Scale AI. He scooped up CEO and co-founder Alexander Wang, as well as some other employees. But yeah, Sam Altman says here, not only is he going after OpenAI, he said that Zuckerberg's also approached researchers from DeepMind or Google DeepMind too. So he's really trying to scoop up top talent. What I'm waiting for now is what's the next company that he tries to get involved in, and how does he approach it? Does he try to acquire the company whole or in parts? Or does he try to approach researchers like what he's doing here? But either way, I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, to build on your point, he picked up that Jack Ray guy from DeepMind. So you're absolutely right about that, guys. Look, Meta's been having trouble clearing that 600 decisively, guys. What's 700? Excuse me. What's a look?
You know what? Look, I like Meta. I bought twice this year, but like you said about that 700 level, this story, I don't know that it's a stock mover, obviously, but at the same time, when you look at this 15-minute chart, like 695, it has just turned into this. It's not the pivot zone. Like a pivot is an actual indicator, but sometimes you just got to use the term that makes a lot of sense. And 695 has been this real pivot zone. We're above it for now, but you lose that. I think Meta heads back down to the 680 level temporarily. That's what the chart has been telling you. I think if you're waiting for that breakout, we need some kind of a catalyst to get there. I feel like it's the kind of thing that happens post-Fed if it happens. So 695 is where I'd be looking. It didn't make the list today for me. If we're talking mag names, it actually ended up being Apple just because it's been like a continuation short. I had the note. I had 198.5 in my note yesterday and then didn't take it. Was trading Micron at the time and some Palantir, which Palantir is not even on the note either. Or sorry, Palantir's the note. It's not on our rundown either. That's a name we'll go through at some point. But just more of a clear downward trend here in Apple as opposed to like this choppy over-under nonsense going on with Meta. So I'm looking to short Apple. If we get 198.5, which seems less likely than anything today, sure. But when I pop the 3-minute up, looking at those higher lows, I still like that 197 area. It's been a good pivot spot as well. Underneath it, consolidations yesterday in the afternoon. So yeah, I'll be shorting some Apple today. Meta, probably I stay away.
We still have a very long time to go before open here. I have no interest in Meta today. 142 here. So Palantir yesterday dropped right off the open from 142 down to 139. That's $3 straight to the downside. I put it down here. The sticky note is now out. You guys can go find that right up in here. I just put it in the chat. I have Palantir on here. Marvell, Palantir, SMR, Apple. I have Palantir on here, 136 if it does happen. I said it needs a big move down, but we've had it before, so let's try to be a little patient with that. If you want to go find the note, it's there. But here's the drop down. A lot of good support down here. We made it once, bounced off. We tried to go again, bounced, tried to go again, bounced. So I think between 136 to 137 down here for Palantir, we'll start the bidding around 137. I think that's going to be a really good opportunity to buy something here. A name that is near its all-time highs. We're off of it slightly now because we've had such a big move right there off of this break of 120, right there, break and hold. We broke it, then we came back through, held it again right there, and then since then, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, there's something wrong with our charts. 5, like that should be green. 5, 6, and then as we go a little bit higher there. So, as you start to move higher here on Palantir, we look for some dip buy zones, and right into here, 135 to 136, held yesterday for reasons, and I think that has a good chance to hold one more time. So we'll wait to see what Palantir's idea is there today, but good call by Sharif switching over the futures. We are back into the September contract right now, so we have you, if you are here with Trader TV Live, Real Trading, or depending on what your broker uses, you want to change it to the September contract. It's doing like 5 or 6 times the volume right now. So yeah, if Palantir dips below this 136, I think we stay away, and then we can wait for 133 or 4 maybe, because that we didn't hold, and then you're back into this little area right here to see if we have some held bids at 133 to 134. But 136 for me on that one, a little more exciting than Meta. I haven't looked or traded Meta probably all year. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk.
Well, guys, great move up here in the pre-market, almost 5% in the green right now. Benchmark, Needham, Bank of America. Who else, Adara?
Yeah, we got Rosenblatt.
Rosenblatt.
We also have Benchmark, Bank of America, Needham, Rosenblatt, all 4 chiming in. They're all maintaining their buy ratings, and they're raising or maintaining their price targets here, Sharif.
Benchmark here with a $95 price target, guys, basically reaffirming Marvell's recent, reaffirming their guidance, after Marvell's recent AI event. It really impressed analysts from what I've been reading with the strategic direction that the company is taking, as well as the expansion of the TAM, the total addressable market. They showcased, guys, at this AI event, custom AI compute solutions, projecting about a 20% market share increase in their data center revenue by 2028. They're also looking at new customer design wins here and deeper AI integration, which are expected to fuel strong revenue acceleration over the next few years here, Adara. So just one of the rating agencies giving this one the nod.
The Bank of America, too, they said because of the strong guidance that Marvell has going forward for 2028, they said the EPS estimates that the street has now in general are going to be way off. so to reflect that they raised their price target to $90. We'll talk about Affirm here briefly as well, because nice little move for this one. Retail favorite with about a 6% short float. AFRM apparently, I guess, inking a $3 billion loan sale facility with Prudential, or I guess part of Prudential, PGIM Fixed Income. So there's going to be a revolving loan sale. The deal allows PGIM to purchase up to $500 million of Affirm loans at any time. So interesting look here for AFRM, bit of a move.
Nice $70 break, boys, for Marvell through that flat top. What's the look?
Well, it broke 70 a while ago. I'm going to use this chart as an example of what I see happening over in Marvell. Micron 115, when it broke away from this, you've had essentially all green days since it made that consolidation break, and Marvell's at a similar type level, obviously a little bit lower, and doesn't have quite as many points of contact, but it's a significant one because this is what led you to the lows, and it's right here. 73.5 could break out. I actually was looking at a little bit lower than this. And the other thing is, if we fail this 73 top, yesterday's high, that level on the daily, I look back to the prior high, pull back into prior high, 71 to 71.5. So if you fail that breakout early, then this 71 to 71.5 makes a lot of sense to me. Not completely ignoring other names in the chip space, but when I looked across the board, some of the strong ones like Micron, which had been on that nice little consolidation rally, spent the entire afternoon pulling back. So it's not set for a breakout or higher highs anytime soon, at least unless it does something crazy. And then AMD is kind of doing something similar. AMD looks like support at 126. However, that's a different story if it goes to the downside. And the one that's breaking out right now is Marvell. So, I like it. I was so close to putting ARM on the note today for the first time in quite a while. But then, I like the fact that it's still holding above some prior highs, but it was that whole diddling in the middle thing. Like Marvell's the only one that's not diddling in the middle with the charts. These have all been very, very good, right? Like they're all bouncing and they all look strong. This one also sets up as a breakout above, prior resistance that's been holding for half a year, but it's not making a new range. Marvell's the one making a new range, and that's what led me to that today.
Yeah, no, we've been talking about a position that we've liked for a while in Marvell, and I talked about got some friends got involved in this as well, and yeah, I took it here before earnings. We took it right on this candle right here, just under $65, went down into 60, bounced really nicely off the 50-period moving average, which we would have bought more there. So right now, Marvell off of that long finally here. If we're long at 65, you're now $8 in the money on that. So we're about 12, 13% in the money. And this is what we're trying, and that's in a week. This is what we're trying, or a week and a half. This is what we're trying to get at is this break right here. So Marvell is on today's sticky note as a top idea because why not? There's Marvell right there. If we get it into 71 or 72, great. I do like the 73.50 long. Here, if it gets going, it's already gotten going. So by the time we wrote this down, Marvell has already gone. So 73.25, there it is right there. There's the move back up. So yeah, look, man, I mean, like I was saying, we wrote down 73.50. It basically stopped at 73.50, and now it's been the top. So, I think that break gets us where we need to go, up to 75. So that would be real nice. I have an offer in my account to get some out at 75. I think it'd be, silly not to take your 20% on a name like this. But Marvell up nicely here today. And here's the dip by opportunities into $72. Let's just see if it wants to hold. There's 71.50, 72. We can start the buying there if it does dip through. So yeah, I'm going to be hopefully aggressive today on Marvell. I hope it doesn't pop in the first 5 seconds, literally 5 seconds. But if it does, I will take small bids through 73.50 on Marvell, understanding that this could be a prime candidate for a break and fake. So let's be careful there on that because it's already up 5%. So we gotta be very, very careful for that right now. So 72.50 coming into play. And remember, we still are waiting for more updates on the market and Iran and Israel and President Trump and all this kind of stuff. So I don't want to just get stuck long or short one main idea, but Marvell for me has to be a top one. We've been waiting for this break for a while, and now that it's here, let's go. So there's 73.50, 75 is right here, just a key level, comes back into last September. I really like the stock. It's been a good one. You know, not every play we decide to make turns out this good. So happy with Marvell, and yeah, BBAI is another one. It always makes me nervous whenever I look and I see Randy just staring at us right now. So I would love another coffee. I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
you
the open coffee.
Like I still have I still got half.
Oh, before we go back to the desk, we actually had two super chats. So let's get to. I saw the other one. Jedi, appreciate the super chat here. We do have 5 minutes to go. Good day. Any opinion on CarMax earnings and technicals? Ooh, KMX, that's one to watch. And then we did have another, I'll have to find it here. There we go, with Anthony Vance. Thank you for the super chat, Anthony. Good morning, family. Can you please give opinions on TPET? That was an energy small capper that I couldn't find a story on. I'll get to that in a second. CarMax, for the technicals, sometimes the old death cross actually means something. In this particular case, it headed right back in to its lows. The good news is, hey, support at the $60 level. That's pretty much it. So that's all I have for CarMax. And then TPET, the only thing I have to say is be careful with this. It looks like a bit of a trap type stock. Those small cappers, it's had a habitual line stepper vibe going on with TPET. So I'd be careful with that one.
We're long Marvell. It's blasting higher. So there it goes, man. There's the call at 73.50. It's once again your trade. Number one trade idea right there, already 55 cents in the money. Let's see what winds up happening with Marvell. Hopefully we get a pullback and we can get some more shares, but there it goes, man. It's Sticky Note Nation. Hopefully you guys are following it. It's at Trader TV, Sean. There it goes. We have the trade. Bye-bye.
All right, kind of a mixed look here with Uber up, Lyft down, but the story is more connected to Google vis-a-vis Waymo. Wells Fargo now projecting Waymo will reach about 10% of all U.S. ride-hailing trips by 2030, growing from about 18 million rides, which is what they have right now in 2025, up to 465 million by 2030. They are expecting, this is all expectations, their market search to move from 9%, which was in 2024, up to 57% by 2030. They're looking to expand into 17 new cities, Adara, in addition to the ones that they already have now, which is San Francisco, Phoenix, LA, and Austin, and already capturing a meaningful market share there.
And Wells Fargo says what's interesting, too, is the way that Waymo is doing this. So they said about 30% of Waymo rides are expected to be generally more incremental to the overall market. But because Wells Fargo is not expecting there to be a lot of, I guess, incrementality from additional AV entrants, the prospects for companies like Uber and Lyft to serve as demand partners for AV suppliers have gone down. Waymo's able to do it on their own. They seem able to do it on their own, at least going into the next year or so. If you can't use these other companies, what are companies like Uber and Lyft going to do?
Well said. And just give you another little tidbit here. Wells Fargo projecting that about only 30% of these 465 million rides that they're projected to have by 2030, only 30% of that is actually going to be new demand. They're saying about 70% of that 465 million will be cannibalized, likely guys from Uber and Lyft.
Yeah, it's not on the list, Uber, but at least on the daily chart, there's a swing setting up for it, hopefully to the upside. There's a wedge on the daily from this break of 78. Here's your first support. Draw the trend line there. The trend line from the top is really easy. So if we close today or at any point above 86, about 10, 86.20, somewhere in here, then I think this looks really good for a swing back into the top. It's been doing nothing, but it's at least condensing in a positive way. Where you look at that chart, it's it's lower highs and higher lows together. You break out that wedge, close above 86, and I think you're flying on Uber. But this is not a stock that I'm interested in trading today.
I'm not even focused. Uber, Lyft, Google, love them all. There it is, man. We are now $1 in the money right now with Marvell. So there it goes, man. Nice pop right there. That's textbook. That's exactly what we're waiting for. I just put in my accounts themselves at 75. So it looks like we'll probably get executed there right off the jump. So there it goes, man. Traders got to trade. We talk about that. I just wish it had happened while the market was open. And, we would have been able to take a little bit more shares, but we'll wait to see where we go now on Marvell, but we really like this name as it obviously it's the #1 trade idea there. So yeah, we'll continue to watch out for that. But there it goes, man. See you later. Hopefully that's a good one. The other trade that I'm looking for here is going to be Palantir. This is already, we don't do the trade of the day already. Hopefully we can both have better ones, but we'll wait to see if we can. There's Palantir right now. Nice move from 139.50 back in. We are waiting for 136s to hit. Hopefully it does. Again, I don't know. And then the other trade that I'm going to be trying to be patient with is an SMR break of 39. But it could also be a rejection of 39. Like it could. Thank you so much, Randy, for that one. We're already spinning the dollar club here, so it's been a good day so far. But we're looking for this. This could hold. That's what I'm getting at. It's up today. Not sure if that is the greatest break that we're looking for there on SMR. But here we go, man. We're 30 cents away from this right there, Randy. We took this break already on Marvell, up 7% as we're going for that. So yeah, it's not huge. And then the other play that I'm looking for is Apple. Yesterday we called 198.50 on the sticky note, and it got to 198.50, but we're at the gym. Like I was saying, man, healthy people are getting sick around here, and healthy people are missing trade opportunities by going to the gym, but we're happy that we did. Here we go, man. Only 10 seconds left. We do want to say thank you to everybody for Orogenics right there. Thank you so much for sponsoring our opening bell. It's Orogenics, O-Gen on the N.
Get it there.
Y-S. All right, we're now open, so let's just wait to see what winds up happening here. There goes Marvell. There it is right there. It's a nice trade as we break through 75. And see you later, alligator on that one. We are now filled on our own personal account a little bit out there at 75, so that's so far so good. Maybe we shouldn't have got out of that so early on the personal, but we're only out of
win's a win.
Yeah, exactly. We got out of actually 25%, so not bad there, and we'll take it, man. We'll take that 12% or whatever it is on that. All right, so that's about it, man. That's Marvell. Could pull back. We'll wait for that. Just a quick check, and then I'm going to throw it over to Neil. SMR does make that move down. We're still watching out for that 139. Not open yet, though. SMR on the NYSE.
Well, not much is, unless that wick is real in Apple, not much happened in big cap tech land. Tesla, we didn't get to Tesla. Tesla 325. Whatever. If we get to 325, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I like that for a fade. But 310 support level is all that's left for TSLA.
Oh,
I just looked at Apple.
I don't think that's real.
No, like I said, I don't think that actually went down to 195 bucks. If I thought it was real, it might change my opinion about shorting the pop at 97 instead of just waiting for the higher price up there at 198.5. So we'll see if it gets there. ACB on earnings, look, they got absolutely trounced. I thought there'd be a little bit more action in here. I wanted it breaking down underneath the 5 level, but it just held 5 at the open. And it looks like, okay, the position board's not on. I'm not in anything right now. Didn't take the break at 73.5. I don't like pre-market breaks on this stock in particular because of the volatility. Watching this 75 level, because if we fail 75, VWAP actually sits prior high into this 73.5. And if we fail 75 again, I think there's a chance to be able to get that to the downside to be able to pull back into the volume weighted average price on Marvell, or even just adjacent to the volume weighted average price. Okay, maybe that is real on Apple. Apple now down to 195. Tesla dropping like an absolute rock as well. So the market's coming back in pretty decently here. Yeah, don't want to chase. I did want Tesla short, but I thought we'd be getting some kind of a pop here today. I thought we'd see inside day on a Fed day. Instead, it's that initial drop at the open as usual.
That's too bad because yesterday, like I said, man, we had Apple written down here and missed it at 198.50. It went to 198.50. Today we have 197.50 written down. We definitely know we like to short in Apple. We had talked about that even as a trade for Fed if you were looking for something to do. But right there, it does bounce up pretty cleanly off 195, like real nice like. So that is a good daily level there for Apple. So yeah, maybe it's done now. Maybe it's done. Let's wait. I still want to fade any sort of a pop. That's 190. Yeah, well, now it has to go to 196, I think, in order for me to get involved here. But there's the push even lower right now. Volume weighted average price not going to really play yet. 196 to me on Apple is a good level. All right, so there goes Marvell. Now I'm pretty glad that we wind up taking some profit because now you're down about $1.50 from its high on Marvell. So we just so I just took a little bit more there because we were initially bidding in and around that area of 74. So that was just kind of a level that we had first gotten out at. It's the first, possible level of support. So we do take a little bit more long there at $74.
What is happening to NVIDIA?
$74.20. So that's one name there. Let's see what winds up happening with Marvell. But $73.50, I should be bidding there as well, and we are. So let's go. Let's see if Marvell wants to get upside there. We did average back into that. So here we go. Let's take something out. Again, if we can get back up near that 75, that would tend to be a good trade. So there it is again, man. On the reload right now, nice move higher. Let's just see if it winds up holding, man. I could see some froth coming out. Up 6% on upgrades. You know, we saw what AMD was doing the other day on an upgrade. We caught $10. Yeah, it's not. There's no news today on it, but we caught $9 from 120 to 129. But now today, man, look what this market's doing. It's actually amazing that Marvell is holding up, to be honest.
Yeah, NVIDIA just hit $143. It's tanking. Tesla's not tanking. Tesla's actually holding up relatively well. NVIDIA, AMD. I'm kind of at this point happy that I didn't want to go into that ARM trade. I was very close to putting this one on my list today, but that's also headed down. I'm not in anything right now. Oh yeah, we forgot about energy. This is what happens in the morning sometimes. XOM, like, doesn't matter. XOM didn't do a dip, so the chance to be able to grab it at 113 isn't going to make any sense. It broke out the top and looking relatively strong one more time. So XOM needs to close above 115 on any bar, and I think we get a continuation play. Remember, it is. You do have inventories at 10:30. So if you're trading in oil, just kind of remember what happens at that time. You will see some price shock. But even this is rejecting its top end break. Everything is so bearish right now. I guess that means we're patient. Even Palantir. I think Palantir has a chance to get to that bottom. Was able to wick the bottom on the short yesterday, mostly by fluke, just had a bit at the even dollar. Looks like we're headed for a test of that low as the market's flushing, going into a Fed day with no real catalyst here outside of geopolitical.
Yeah, man. I mean, we have that's a trade idea here on Palantir, the number 2 idea. If we can get 136, we'll try that on Palantir. All right, let's check out what another trade idea we had was SMR breaking through 39, and I was saying that could be a bounce spot for SMR as well, and that looks like that is what it was. Pretty clean there. Okay, let's go. See if Marvell can get going again. 39 change right there we just bounced off of. So it looks like we nailed that as a level. I still look to go short if we do break it. But with this kind of movement in the market, if we don't break levels, then we don't break levels, and maybe they're going to hold, because that was enough of a push to get that through, I would have thought. I'm going to try to go with Apple here in and around this. I mean, I think the stop now has to be... Yeah, like 196 and change, but I'm not in it, but I'm going to get in this.
196 half I'm waiting for.
195 half is right now. I was waiting for 195.75 on Apple. Maybe let's just start it. Let's just start something there then at 50. If we can get it, it just touched back up to there. It is weaker name today. Obviously, it's red, as is the market, but the market's looking weak, right? So we want to trade weak name short. So that looks like a good one. So we'll watch out for that. All right, so that's a play for me. I'm not going to take. I was debating taking the 195 break as well on Apple, but all right. So Tesla's going the oppo right now. So I like when stocks go oppo, because that gives us an idea of what's strong and what's weak, right? So right now Tesla, very strong name, breaking through highs right now, looking to take out 320. And if we do take out 320, is that enough of a level? Not really. This actually looks a little bit better to me, 321, 321.50 or so there for Tesla. If we can break above that 321.50. 320 is great because it's a key level, but we tried it right there and only got to 320.65. And then you're going to run into this area anyways of 321. Maybe if you're super strong, then we can get that. But we do have a new position. You just saw it flash in there. It's Apple. So right now we are short. I don't know. I think that's...
The position board's...
Oh, the position board is down, Andre, but...
the bar is down. Okay, the team's working on.
But right now, there's the short right there. Short 195.49, and then the long is in the building right now as well with Marvell. We're in the money now, 40 cents on Marvell. So yeah, so far so good here this morning. 2 for 2 with trades, but Apple is just working now. So we're going to wait to see what Apple does. And like I said, that 196 where the 50-period moving average is, I'm actually pretty fine stopping out in and around there. But here goes Marvell, man. This is the big winner for me today. Let's see if it can go. I'm offering right now 74.80s or something like that. Yeah, 74.86. So here comes Marvell. Nice move back there to the upside on the reload there at 74.20. If it can get going, great for us on Marvell. 196.50 or so, the stop here on Apple if it winds up doing that. So that's what I'm looking for on Apple.
Yeah, as I said, guys, and I put it in the chat, they're working on the position bar. I like Apple to the short side. I'm waiting just underneath the pre-market lows in there. I haven't taken a position yet. Basically, I mean, I want Tesla short, but I'm not going to fall for this trap. Tesla is the one stock breaking out, and if I'm waiting for 325 and it's relatively strong, then I'm not going into that short position at all. This is looking absolutely, it's just counter trend every step of the way. XOM does not seem to want to break out yet either, so I'm hanging on to that one.
Wow, Marvell.
Chip names are looking incredibly weak with the exception of Marvell at this point. So I think if we're going to get any kind of juice out of the chips, there's only one place to be able to squeeze it. And for anyone looking at the crypto names, Circle is now trying to break out that 155.
Yes, dude.
Right now, it's a bit of a fail break at that 55 level. If we can start to close above 55, Circle, remember, there was that stable coin bill, still has to get through the House, got through the Senate.
Holy.
Big up spike, $7 candle. I don't chase a $7 move, but if we can consolidate and take that high out again or dip into VWAP, I do like that Circle long. The 55 break is failing, however.
All right. Yeah, like we keep saying, man, traders gonna trade. We're here up 8% right now. There's Marvell, the #1 trade idea, 73.50 long break. We're in it, and it's good to go. So there it goes, man. Marvell. And not only that, but also on the reload right there. Marvell now up $1.70. Well, first of all, we're up more than that off of that number right there. That's a 73.50 break. We're breaking through 76 right now. But there goes Marvell, man. We just take a 76 fill as well. But look at the reload, man. It's all about the reload right there. So that's it, man. It's your chicken dinner winner. So far, so good. Wow, Marvell. Like, this is doing this when the market is like saying, yeah, we're not sure what we want to do. Marvell is sure. There it goes, man. Huge move right there to the upside. We did it again today. Thank you for joining every single day. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. I know Neil's not in anything, but we're in Marvell, and it's too bad that the position board isn't working because right now you'd see long Marvell $74 right there. So it's a nice $2 winner off of the reload. $3.50. $3 off of our initial break idea. So there it goes, man. Marvell is absolutely Moon City right now, and there it is. It's a goal met there at 940. So not bad. We'll get some more out here as we continue to fly higher. I'm still in more than half of this position on Marvell as we take baby steps out. But there it is right there. Put the position in text on the chat. Yeah, because I'm only hosting and trading and actually, you know, playing with decent shares here. I'm not going to be posting anything in the chat right now, but I'm telling you what I'm long at right here. Marvell, $74.21 right now. Well, you can see my fills. Those are my fills there, and then we'll wait to see what Apple wants to do. I'm going to wait here at 195.75 to get that going, but I do see, I think it's, there's Ramin. I was going to say, I see Ramin over there working.
They're working on it.
I didn't see Fabian come through, so what's up, Fabian? He's working on that right now. So we'll get that position board up. No worries. That's what I'm doing. Are you in anything yet? Or
I did. Look, I'm into Apple. It got to the volume weighted average price. That Circle 155. It did break out. Remember that we had the, what's the name of the bill again? It doesn't really matter. The stable coin bill being the catalyst for it. I didn't want to chase the initial up candle, as I just mentioned to you, at 55, but when it consolidated and then broke a second time, we grabbed it. It's stalling out every single even dollar. So 55 to 56, and I'm gonna tighten the stop up because I don't want it losing the pre-market low in here. I think we're getting to 160 if we can hold 55, but if we lose 55, I maintain that VWAP is the next place to be able to get in, so there's just that. And then Apple at the volume weighted average price, hit enter twice. Really, if you're not going to 97, then I always look to VWAP for an entry point, pretty much. That's very standard. Yesterday's low is almost here, so I'm going to get some out in front of the low of the day. So really just the two positions. Tesla's still tracking well towards that 325, but I can wait for it to get there. I just want to be patient with Tesla. It's absolutely screaming relative to everything else. So Tesla, still super, super strong this morning. Another $4, and it does get to that resistance level of 325 that I'm keyed in on here.
Right, there we go. The position board's up. Everyone's job is safe. All right, so here comes Apple right now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's hit the bang button on that one. All right, so here goes Apple, including my own, hopefully. Here goes Apple. We're bid some 37s. There it is. We take a little bit out right now as we are short Apple, long Marvell. And yeah, just trying to play some of the ranges, right? Like we had said before. I don't know if Apple's, like I'm just trying to play, there's a move up into the 200 period moving average, sorry, VWAP there, looking at the 200 period moving average. That's a much bigger short for me if we can get anything in that range. So again, good play there. Marvell, a couple outs. It got as high as 76.50. We have 3 outs up there right now, holding less than half at this point. But Marvell is coming back in a little bit. I'm gonna take a 33 out if we can get it. Oh, did we get it there? No, we didn't. So it just went like that a little bit. Let's see if we get it. I'm just offering 33s. I don't know. There it is. Okay, we get it eventually. So there's the out there on Marvell. We're taking $1 right there, but we do understand that there is a high side coming, hopefully, on MRVL. But remember, whenever we're talking about getting in and out of these trades, sometimes we have to think about something like I'm in this for a swing, and we just took some out right there. Long 64 change, out 76, 75. But you are running into some potential resistance that goes all the way back here. But the goose is loose here on Marvell, and there it goes right back up again.
The juice?
Into the 70s. The goose, man. The goose is loose on this one.
Okay, fair enough.
But the juice is loose, hopefully, on Apple to the downside right there.
They dissed Nordberg in the trailer for the new one.
Oh, did they?
They did diss. They did.
Oh man, what the hell? They did.
It's a slight.
There's been some new ones. There's Happy Gilmore 2's coming out. Spaceballs 2 coming out. It would be cool if we had like an Office Space and all that kind of stuff.
I love that.
Would be really great as well. Palantir goes top to bottom there as well. 137.50 up to 139 now. So we were looking at that name, but we don't have.
I still want the long in Palantir, but it just didn't get down there. But remember, V-shaped recovery on this stock. Sometimes you just want to take the break when it does the V-shaped recovery. So I'm not there yet. I'm still thinking if it's underneath 139.5, you can maybe get something a little bit lower because it just didn't test that 136 on PLTR, unfortunately. Maybe we get this break. We'll see what happens. Palantir looking a little bit stronger than it did before. Let's go. Oh, shoot. We're supposed to go to Adara. My bad.
Just keep an eye here in GOVX. Nice push to the upside. This one dropped a little bit yesterday, as you can see, especially into the close. Announced earlier this week through filing there, they're going to be selling 6.15 million common units. Today, though, popping a little bit. No news. Just looks like a little bit of a relief rally. Also, maybe keep an eye on some defense stocks here. Currently, we do have Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth testifying here on the Department of Defense's 2026 budget. I'm listening to this. If there's anything notable here, I'll certainly let you guys know, but just be aware if you're watching any of these defense plays. Back to you.
All right, we're getting locked and loaded over here. All good, Andre, at some point. All right, so for me, it's going to be a wait and see type of thing. We looked at SMR here as well. That if I'm looking short, we probably should have shorted the pre-market highs right there. It's not even the pre-market highs. That's more like 41, between 40, 50 to 41, but that we could have got short if we were really thinking those levels, because normally I'd be at 75s. So we should have maybe shorted that. We did have the mark written down here as a break of 39 on the note, so that could be a play at some point later on today, this break of 39. I did cancel it though, because I didn't really like the way the market was moving there upside, and was thinking, okay, maybe we do have something there with SMR at 39 being a long. What's loose right now is also Google right here, because there you go. This isn't like the Iowa meat truck.
Heyo.
You know that guy? Iowa meat truck?
Well, I've heard of it. I don't know.
No. He's a Blue Jays prospect.
Yeah.
Named Iowa meat truck. Yeah. So shout out to that. Yes, man. There we go. I know I got some kind of baseball here. But there it goes, man. Google is off to the races, 175.50 right there. Yeah, the Blue Jays have this first baseman that has a crazy power rating. His nickname is the Iowa Meat Truck. I'm going to call it up for you in a second. I'll go throw it back to Neil. I'm going to go get a picture of this guy. I forget his name.
So when you threw up, when you pulled up Alphabet, the first thing I thought, hey, maybe we'll get Amazon at that. Nope. Dip. Rip. Nothing.
Here he is, right?
Amazon completely sideways. I do have ACB now, so I am short ACB. It broke down underneath the $5 level. So it's underneath VWAP, it's underneath the $5 level. I am short this. I want to give it to about 5.10. Just looking for a continuation play they reported this morning.
Here it is.
It doesn't matter, Beto.
Blue Jays prospect. Yeah, Peyton Williams right here.
His numbers aren't yet there, though.
No. He's a young guy. He's not, I mean, he's just too huge. He's going to have to get, I guess, get in a little bit better shape. But there it is right there. All-Star game, Iowa meat truck. Right here. So shout out to, and that's a company over there, obviously, in Iowa. So you guys might know that. So shout out to you guys. You guys want to send me a shirt? I'll wear it. All right, man. Level up your trading game with Prop XP, up to 1 to 200 leverage and static drawdown. Scroll the site, pick your challenge at propxp.com. Trade directly on their platform. Sign up, try it for free, and start your trading journey. Enjoy rapid payouts and real human support. No bots. Rated 4.6 on Trustpilot, trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, if you scan that QR code and tell them you've got Trader TV with their code, you get 50% off. The link is in our description. Be the trader, get funded, join Prop XP today. Visit propxp.com and use code TraderTV to become the trader that you want to be. I'm trying to become that. I had to, I'm sitting here trading Marvell, trading Apple, trading a lot of these different names. But everybody, there's different strategies, there's different styles of trade. So, employ yours. And if you've been trading with the futures, make sure you do. Switch over your contract to U25 right now. If you look at, I'm just going to show you just real quickly here the difference. So here's the U25 contract, 235,000 shares are. Oops, that's the MNQ. Hold on a second. NQ is what I'm looking for right there. The NQ M contract, which would be June, 14,000 shares. The NQU, already 82,000, so about 5 times the amount of shares traded over here on the U contract, which is, of course, September. So I don't know, man. We're getting meat trucked right now. Apple, right there. I see you're short at 57s. I'm short here at 85s. But at the end of the day, it's not a short right now for Apple. So let's wait to see what winds up happening, giving back some profits here from, Marvell right now is $2 right now in the money. So we're going to have to wait to see what Marvell wants to do. Right back up here at highs again. And oh boy, man, we're still in a position here on Marvell, but it's Apple that's getting me a little nervous, I guess.
Well, Apple's trying to break out that pre-market high. If it takes it out, I'm out. I am back into a Circle, the other one. If I make that mistake, I'm probably trading Circle, not CoreWeave today. I think Apple's going to break it out, and we'll have to slap the fail on this. It did give you the low of the day very briefly, but now you're starting to scream back into the top, and it's going to take out that top, it looks like, almost certainly. The wick is 196.40, so I'm just slightly adjacent to that level, not exactly at it. Circle's right at our price. The newest position on was a stock that I hadn't traded yet, was just ACB. So they reported their earnings. I actually believe they beat on revenue, and there was no comparables when it came to their the EPS. Regardless, the stock tanked. It's under VWAP, under $5. I shorted it. It's trying to break down. I'm looking at 460 as the next out if we break the 470 level here on ACB. But I think Apple's going to turn into a fail. Circle headed to the upside, but Apple is going to be the stinker. And I liked Apple to the short, but it's about to break out here, guys.
Ooh. Yeah, pretty nasty hit coming, it looks like, for Apple. Again, we just don't follow our own rules, right? Because we write down Apple at 197.50, so just got excited with it, but that's okay. We'll wait to see what winds up happening. Like we said, man, definitely in the pocket for
58.
me, so I'm completely fine with that trade. We have Marvell. Marvell is the one. That's the trade of the day for me, and we're going to wait to see if that happens and even blasts even higher. I did get out of, like I said, 25% of my position in the swing account there. We're long at 64.70 or whatever, Marvell right now. And I was saying this yesterday to Brian Shannon about Marvell. I was like, what's the next name that's going to go that AMD 10%? Well, Marvell's doing it today. So there it goes. Nice move higher there on MRVL. All right, so yeah, we'll take I don't know, man. We'll take, I guess, one more fill up here on Apple, but it is going to break our back right there today, our neck, our back, you know. And then there comes 140, 196.40. Hopefully we do fall back in. My average price right now is 196 flats, so happy with that. And again, you know, you're just trying to be net positive on the day and have some good ideas and some decent trades. So right now, this is going to eat into the Marvell profit, that's for sure. But we're going to be patient with it and see if it does fade back out one more time. The other play that we had was SMR. That's not doing anything. Palantir, SMR, Apple, and Marvell. So that's it. So let's just check out Palantir quickly, and then we're going to go over, and I'll start focusing my attention on the chat, right? Because we've sort of made our bed here a little bit with these two positions. Yeah, Palantir, I don't want to short it. But, you know, this 139.50, I would say if we break that, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble if Apple's going to break higher. Look at the market right now. If Palantir breaks this 139.50, then yeah, this does run to 140 and then maybe even takes that out. So you're going to have to watch out for some market momentum right now. The momentum is obviously here. I don't know if this was waiting for something from Trump or not, but whatever happened, it didn't get it, and then it just bounced right back up there almost immediately. Like that move started on the imbalances, and then boom, we actually forgot to look at I didn't look at them anyways.
There were those
nothing. Okay, I was thinking maybe there was something.
I didn't see anything notable on the imbalances.
That's at 9:28, basically, when we get that last Nasdaq update that cranked it, and then now downside. Okay, Neil, now we're about to have a party time. If Apple can come back down, then oh boy, this will be that trade that we want it to be. So let's get out some pressure right now at 196 here, 196.10, and here we go. Now we're starting to go a little bit exciting right now in the market. So let's get back down into the downside right now, man. I like Apple if we can break lower. All right, here we go. Apple, a big one. Trump is now speaking to reporters at the White House, talking about rates and all that kind of stuff. So as soon as, if Adara has any news, we can go to her, but which we'll go check out what's happening now with Adara.
Donald Trump making some comments here, apparently saying that if the Fed would lower rates, we would buy debt for a lot less. Just right now, he's at a flagpole planting ceremony outside the White House. I can't find any footage on this, but I'm seeing comments coming through. He also just called Fed Chair Powell, quote, not a smart guy. So be aware of that. Also, right now, we do still have Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, among others in the department, testifying right now for a committee on the defense budget. So this could be key for some defense names. Palantir potentially on watch, so just be aware. That testimony is still happening. I'm keeping an eye on comments from Trump right now, as mentioned, speaking a lot about Powell. Not a fan. Back to you.
Really rich.
Yeah, he's not a fan of Powell. Obviously, Adair doesn't have any issues with Chairman Powell. Just a quick update on Circles, because we did scalp out of it there. It went 56 into 58, it went 55 into 56, but it did lose that pre-market high initially before re-breaking the 56 level and then turning at that $60. So Circle at 160 looks like an obvious area of resistance here. That's exactly the price it broke down in the morning before. Watch for VWAP to come back in on this. I think that gets a little bit interesting. I'm just gonna quickly go over to give you the juxtaposition. You know, I gotta cancel my Marvell bid because at this point it's way too far gone. If it gets down there, you don't want it. That's my attitude. NVIDIA just made a nice bottoming tail wick, and it's trying to go. Remember, 145 is a big resistance spot for NVIDIA. If it can get and buy above, I feel just like it did yesterday. If it can consolidate and then make higher lows, which it didn't do after that breakout. It did it yesterday, tried to go in the pre-market, but after the market opened, it just could not break 145 and put any higher lows in. If it does that, I still maintain it can be a long. It's just not happening. Palantir, when I can want Palantir to be strong, it's just not doing it. It didn't break 139.5, so that didn't happen. So we're right back to waiting for it to break down into 136. So that 139.5 did not break on PLTR. It came very close. Now a double top. So that break actually looks a little bit better here if it takes it a second time. Double top, higher lows. Cross fingers, higher lows at this point into that 135, 39.5. If it breaks VWAP, I put my order to break long in. If it doesn't, we wait for the 136 level. Apple barely held on to 196.5, but it's on the wrong side of the V. It's on the wrong side of the V, and until it does that, I'm all over a volume-weighted average price if we can get it.
I mean, it's a profitable trade. It's a big one, and I can pretty confidently say this will probably be, for me, the largest P&L trade for me today, probably with Marvell. I mean, again, it came in. It was exactly, I mean, I don't know what can happen at Fed, probably nothing, but this was exactly as we written it down, right? I mean, this is exactly the trade situation that your boy wants, and that is just an opportunity. And there it was, man. It was the #1 trade on our screen today. So obviously we're all over it. Right now it's $4 in the money. There's 73.50 long break. We have that, and we played. So let's go over to @TraderTV, Sean. You can also grab that on Insta as well. But there it is, man. Just touched 77. Well, I mean, I guess I gotta get some out now again, man. There's $77. So, I mean, there's the dip buy, there's the break, there's the dip buy opportunity. So Marvell gave you so much opportunity today to buy this name, but you just had to believe in it, and we did. Like, look at that VWAP hold. That's exactly, like, we literally have videos about that, Neil. We all do, right? So there's the dip buy opportunity into Marvell. It holds VWAP. It's an absolutely perfect. If anything, just upset that I didn't get more long there. You know, it came in right there. It dip bought again into that same level of $74, and now it's up, and away for Marvell. So, you know, decent trade there. You know, just wish we had more. We always wish we had more shares, but like I said, man, the P&L is now in the pocket. I can go back and figure it out. I think I have about 1/3 left here on MRVL, so that's probably too much. So let me take another piece out there at 65, yeah, we'll just see how high we can go now, because we've already broken through that level. So Marvell being up 10% now, yeah, $77, a good level. I don't know, the next area for me for concern, and I can't believe we're talking about this already, $82, $83 for MRVL. Oh boy, our friend is now messaging me right here because he dropped his shares at 70. So there it goes, man. All right, Adara with something.
Happening now and news. It is worth noting Trump making more comments on rates. He says that rates should be 2 points lower, but it'd be nice if they were 2.5 points lower. He said that he's going to, quote, go very short term, get rates way down, and then go long term. So it's unclear exactly what the strategy is, but we know he would like the Fed to lower rates. Unfortunately for Trump, it does look like we're going to see rates held steady, at least this meeting, and very likely the next meeting as well, according to the Fed or the CME rate tool. We're going to have to wait and figure out if that is in fact the case. But again, heavily priced in, there will be no rate change. Here's the market. Nice push here off the lows. Bouncing off 528.50, but already giving back some of that move. Slightly lower than expected economic data across the board. Jobless claims more or less in line, but nothing too exceptional this morning, and no other numbers to watch out for today other than the FOMC rate decision at 2 and the press conference at 2:30. Keep an eye here in META. Meta has been on watch here. We know that Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, during a podcast that aired yesterday, said that apparently Mark Zuckerberg of Meta has been trying to poach employees from OpenAI, offering them $100 million signing bonuses. Then we have Uber, Lyft, and Google on watch. We have Wells Fargo issuing a note on Google's Waymo, saying that it's very likely to take quite a bit of market share from both Uber and Lyft going forward. Make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, join us for the FOMC rate decision and for everyday trading at Tradertv.live. Back to you.
Yeah, it's a big war chest to try to go in there and get some people. But look, I said, didn't really think that was going to be a big deal for Meta in general. Meta loses 700. Again, Meta loses $700 level. It just doesn't feel like this stock is going to be very strong anytime soon. Tesla was close, maybe not. It failed 324, was right in the pocket to try to get that 325, and immediately failed that 324. So it's pretty, I think it was on the keys, but I wanted to get a little bit higher into that 325 before attempting the short. It's a moving freight train right now. I don't want to jump in front of two things at once. I think we're going back to Adara. We have breaking news from the president again.
Breaking news.
President Donald Trump is talking a little bit about Iran, just to be aware here, for geopolitical tensions. When asked if the U.S. will strike Iran, he said, quote, I may not. He said Iran apparently wants to negotiate, but they should have done so earlier. Also, back about the Fed, he said, quote, maybe I should appoint myself at the Fed. Can I do that? So Definitely rates going to be on watch. So we're going to have to wait and see what the response to that is. We have VFS as well here. VinFast on watch. Apparently the company's going to be opening its first dealership in California. Back to you.
The president nominates and the Fed picks. Whatever. That's just some fun there from the president. I don't know that he's not going to nominate himself, but certainly
He will.
He certainly has the power to do so. One of the gangster moves that you pull is that you have somebody that you really, really want. You put up a couple of people that they really don't want, and then that means you also get the person you want is who they have left to choose from. So I think that's more along the lines of what will end up happening in there. So ACB is very slowly gliding down. It just cracked the 75. So I'm waiting at 60s just because that's where support was here earlier, and then 440 as well. I'm going to go to Circle. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back in. Oh, Apple just broke the high. That just got me out. We'll take the L on Apple. This was my number 2 for the short, with Tesla being the number 1. But just again, just on the wrong side of the V. You tried it at VWAP, but now it's breaking out that top in here. And it's pretty far away from yesterday's highs and that 97. So you really got to let it fly in to that 198 half level at this particular point. So we'll see where it gets to. Apple, it's up 0.5. The market has yet to put, it's only been a couple of candles, but obviously they're both green, and you're seeing the relative strength in this name. It hasn't broken out the bottom of the channel yet, but it's only a matter of time before it does. And once it gets past that stop, you want to make sure you get out. I said in the chat, Circle had stalled at 160. It's still stalling at the 160 level. Never mind, it just broke it 2 seconds ago. So Circle just broke out. Looks like it's not going to give us another entry off of that volume-weighted average price. Circle up 7%. It was the stable coin bill passing the House, still has to get through. Sorry, passing the Senate. It still has to get through the House. It's the other way around, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. For me, Apple hasn't quite broke yet. There's the level that I'm looking at, 196.80s. Coming into that level. So we'll wait to see. We had written down 197.50. We probably should have just waited for that. But these are the only 2 trades that we have on right now. Let's check out what SMR is doing real quick. So it's not doing anything. So a little bit of nothing right there. Let me just go over to see what's going on with Google here. Again, 176, so nothing. So I think we're trading the right names. I mean, Apple's moving, Marvell's obviously moving. Let's check out what's going on with BBAI right now as well. That's a New York name, so there it goes. Okay, so down today. So this is what I was saying, yesterday we had that nice move up into 440s, and as soon as we stopped there, we actually said this on the show. One of our better trades yesterday, P&L. Well, actually, yesterday was a great day, but was Big Bear AI breaking that 415 area. We didn't even have it on our schedule today. As soon as we didn't break through there, that 440 area, that was a little bit of a problem. You would have liked to see us at least end the day around here and then give us a chance to take some of these levels out. So, we wait for Big Bear AI, maybe another announcement or so of a contract will get this name going. But, you never want to wait on a stock waiting for something like that. So if you're in Big Bear AI and you did take some, I'm stuck long at 420. We've talked about that price. So if I was nervous about it, you take the 5% hit or whatever. Wait a minute, 40 cents. Yeah, 5% hit on this and get out, if you don't like that trade. But Big Bear AI, not necessarily the end of the world for anybody, I don't think. So that move not really making any interesting plays at all. CoreWeave was jumping the last couple days, man. I don't know what it's doing today. It's down 2%, so maybe this is finally the day. I mean, if you're going to ever trade CoreWeave, you just have to get out once it breaks the recent highs. So this is 171. So right now, if you're going to short it, look at the spread is 40 cents. So shorting CoreWeave right here, fine, then you're in the position, but you got to give it $3 to break. I mean, $3, if you're right, is going to, cash easy like this. I think so anyways. That gap down there to 164 is an area there for CoreWeave. So if you do like that short, I think it's something to look at. Here comes 197 right now. Apple is just gone straight to the upside right now. So yeah, averaging into this play up to 197, not going to be the winner that we had hoped for there on Apple. We could have punched out at 60. Maybe we should have. We don't have enough shares for this one to have made me super nervous. If we had, then yeah, that initial punch there at 96 probably would have been something. Even to punch out there at 35 was probably the right play for Apple, instead being a little stubborn here, waiting for some of those higher levels to come through. But Apple right now is working out. So there goes Apple up to 197. I don't even have a stop order out, and I think that that's right here, because I was kind of just waiting to see, like, maybe we should just wait to see if we can get up to this 197.50, because if I punch out now, sure, I can reload it up there, but I don't know when that stop is going to be coming, and we might not get a reload. Yesterday, we weren't here for our 198.50, and if you had sort of averaged up into 198 or so, you had to hold 40, 50 cents against you, and then this winds up happening. So yeah, I don't know. We'll wait. 196.80 or so right now is a nice play here for Apple. If you wanted the short against 197, it's now 15 cents away. I think it's well worth it, but we're already stuck a long time ago. So now Apple's buying Trump gold cards.
Wow. So that means, well, I get that's the I don't know. Whatever, it's the special citizenship card. I don't know what you call that thing.
That's what I'm saying. Why would Apple buy that?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out myself, but we'll have to process that another time, a real headline as to why that's going to matter. But hey, if you up the price of it, maybe some good revenues for the U.S. government. Tesla did get to 325. It just wicked the top. I got in and didn't scalp. Fighting a sneeze here. And didn't scalp it the first time it bounced off the prior high, which is a mistake. The stock is trending to the upside. You got to take it out when it goes step by step. And then the next out is in front of 322, not VWAP. I'm zooming it out here and recognizing the afternoon resistance and the morning kind of like flood breaks were like right under here at 322. So if I see this and you're reversing the trend, then the scalp trade, get out in front of 322, because I think the longs, for anyone that's looking for longs in Tesla, congratulations, I've obviously been working. Same thing with, pretty much the entire market right here. I want to get out at that 322. I'm not saying I'll flip long, but that's the plan of action there. Bitcoin is moving to the upside. Shout out to everyone in the chat that's pointing out the strength over there in crypto. The bill had to do with stable coins, with Bitcoin holding that 104 level and trying to break higher. It had trouble with 60 yesterday. I stayed away because I just didn't like it yesterday. But that $60 level on iBit looks pretty good. If we can start bidding above there, I might consider joining it. So it's just down to Tesla, hopefully getting to 322. ACB's not really, it's not doing much. It's just gliding underneath the volume weighted average price. If it does come back into VWAP, yeah, I'll probably reload it. But not a ton of volume, only 2.5 million on volume here with ACB. If it does something really exciting, like break 470 finally, or give us back into VWAP, I'll let you guys know. And one more for you, that circle, which is the actual catalyst, crypto, that's a bit of a mistake getting out there. Getting out, stopping too tight in the initial long, and then maybe getting out too early on the break. But I like to take things step by step. This is where it broke down yesterday, so it showed me some resistance I got out. It's headed toward another all-time high. When you've only been around for a brief period of time, it's not hard to do that. 165 change is the all-time high. Yesterday's top 164. I'm not chasing the move in here. And if you're trying to short this thing, just make sure you have it out. Whatever Sean said with CoreWeave just goes. It's the same thing here with Circle. They're just crushing shorts at this point.
Wow, Tesla's 324. I mean, we had indicated Tesla as a possible long this morning off 315. Wow, that was good trade right there. It got as low as 3. Like, I don't even have a bid for it, so it's not like I was really thinking that was coming through. So, all right. There goes Tesla, up 3% today. Was really not expecting that, but look where we ran right into. Another key level here for Tesla. So this 325 coming in right there. Good trade. So, all right. Tesla up to 325. Congratulations. That's another 2.5%. It's nice, man. I don't know if we're going to get to that 360 level by Friday, as it's Wednesday right now, and there's some people talking about those options, but 325, good little level there. We just made it. That's yesterday's peak before the drop. So watch out for that one right there. Tesla right now, nice move higher there today. All right, Apple, we're waiting for that 197.50 to break on Apple. So when that does happen, then we're going to get out of this. I just took a Now we have a little bit more of a serious position. We're short now, out 50 cents on this. It looks like Apple will take $1 hit here on Apple as it's just going. So bye-bye Apple. We'll talk to you in a bit. It's upside huge right now as Trump is talking more about Apple, right? So that's going to be a problem. Apple with a huge move higher. Again, if we had just waited for 197.50 as we wrote down, then I think that would have been, we would have just been getting in right now. So I think if you were interested in it, there is a possibility to take some shares here. But understand that this is way up, and the market's not doing what Apple's doing. So Apple, nice upside. Marvell kind of hanging out. We've just been taking more outs on Marvell. Right now, I have about 20% left of this position, and that's that. So here we go. Let's go Apple upside, Marvell upside, market upside. Let's go find out what Adara's doing. Crypto also upside 105.
To provide some more context here, so we did have Apple pushing a little bit higher. Trump saying that Apple is going to be buying a lot of Trump gold cards. So I want to clarify. I looked into this. I haven't seen anything where Apple has said that they are going to do this, but Trump has suggested that Apple do this going back to February 2025, so this isn't new. His theory here is that companies like Apple can buy gold cards, which basically will, I guess, allow immigrants to stay in the country, and they can use it to recruit people. So that's his plan for Apple. Again, I want to clarify, Apple themselves I've not found any statements saying that that's a plan of theirs. So I just want to clarify, Apple gold card comments are not new. Also, Trump just finished his comments to reporters. It's also worth noting he just said here that they're going to be making a trade deal with India. So Trump really touting this U.S.-India trade deal at the end of his comments. Back to you.
So I just asked Joey Options a question in the chat because I noticed he wasn't at his desk, and that was, remember we have a holiday tomorrow and then triple witching on Friday. So obviously big deal for options. So one of the things that he mentioned to me, and I was asking him, do we see anything different? And he's like, expect higher volumes at the open, obviously at the open and the close on Friday, but also today, because with the holiday, you should see a little bit more action. And I don't wonder if that's not playing somewhat into like the extension that you're seeing, because like oftentimes, like there was no consolidation for Apple in here underneath. They just blew it away. And then once it was through 96, it didn't respect the pre-market highs or any of those levels. And now it's all the way at the 97, like the next strike. So I was like, okay, well, if we're going to get burned, let's wait till the next price. Like try to play it at each level. So this 197, that's been a bit of a spot. It looks like it's trying to go either side of the V. Tesla, I've moved my stop from the high of the day to the prior wick off the high. I'll show you that in a second. But Apple just got to this 197, so waiting for it to get to the next strike and maybe look for a curl there is my thought process. Like willing to stop it out, but also willing to jump back into it if you have to. And just take the next trade. Like, for me, I trade a style that if I get that bad of an entry, it's very unlikely that I'm going to get green on one trade, because if I was sloppy with the first two, then I'm not going to go green on the stock. But try to trade apples with apples. And as far as I'm concerned, it's at my resistance spot. So I want to see it close underneath, give me some kind of a trend reverse, then we're good to go. As I said with Tesla, okay, Tesla coming right back into that 322, but I did move my trail. Once I saw that 30.23 hold the first time, I'm like, okay, let's move our stop and not give it to the high. But I'm getting out in front of 322. I understand, like, it's everyone do your own thing, but I'm just following my rule here as to how strong the stock has been. And if I'm going against the grain and my level was good, but it's a super strong, relatively strong name in the market, I don't want to be fighting it too hard. As a matter of fact, might have been on the wrong side of that little bit of a bounce. I'm going to get out of Tesla while the getting is good. ACB's absolutely fine at this particular point. And green power, I had meant to get to Oracle, but obviously when we're trading here, you got to pay attention to the stocks you're in. And Apple, you're trying to formulate a plan while we're talking to you guys. Oracle, strong stock. I thought you had a couple more days of downside, and maybe you'd be able to pick this one up at 195. Oracle decides, nope, forget it. You don't get the dip. You had to buy it already. So Oracle headed toward the high. Like I said, I would have been interested in this one for a swing at 195, pull back into prior high. Looks like this is another strong one, which just wants to run right back into those tops. It's a bull market, everybody. Just somebody tell that to Palantir this morning, which for the life of me, it was on my note. I was looking for some longs here in PLTR. 136, where we had the short into the bottom yesterday, got some bottom wick action. I threw in a stop for the breakout when I saw the double top at 139.5. No dice, holding under VWAP. Like, what are you, ACB? Why, like the Nasdaq is literally breaking out as we speak, and Palantir, one of the strongest stocks in the market, doesn't want to go. So sometimes you've just got to accept the market that you've been given. Mr. Panda, I see NVIDIA, but I have one play for NVIDIA, and it's when it can show me strength over 145. Outside of the pre-market, it rejected 145 over and over and over and over again until the buyers can start winning, break out a top over 145. This stock is not a long for me at all. So I'm staying away from NVIDIA until it starts breaking tops above that 145. Come on, Tesla, just one little push down.
Yeah, Tesla's pushing, man. I mean, they're all in my back. Yeah, I went to go back there, got a little bit of a refill there. It's like a maze.
Probably
We're going to Minecraft experience tomorrow, so that should be a lot of fun. We went to the
oh, that's the interactive
Dungeons and Dragons interactive thing. Yeah, so we're going to Minecraft interactive
Do we take
experience.
Send me
tomorrow.
as many pictures as possible because I gotta sell Erin on it. She loves Minecraft.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah. Marissa will
sometimes
be taking
if it's not sports
pictures,
or
many pictures.
Yeah,
President Trump apparently is going to be going to NATO. There's lots of stuff happening right now. He's not really saying anything that's moving the market down. It seems like just going upside right now. Marvell doing nothing. Apple just waiting to stop me out. Is AMD breaking out, Patrick? We'll have a look at that. Let's go find out once again what Adair's up to.
Keep an eye here on MNMD. I'm seeing some comments coming out here. It seems like they're being attributed to Marx. I looked into this. Seems like that's Peter Marks, formerly of the FDA. Apparently, he's saying that he thinks it's more likely that the FDA could issue emergency use authorizations, possibly for psilocybin. So this is completely speculative here, but MNMD or MindMed, a psilocybin play, pushing to the upside. Again, pure speculation. Apparently, I'm seeing, I guess, some comments being attributed to, it looks like, former FDA member here, Peter Marks. If I find any more details about the story, I'll let you know. But pushing MNMD, to the upside. We're noting as well, the Wrap reporting that Google-owned YouTube Shorts is now averaging about 200 billion views every day. We can go into small caps here while we're here as well. Why not? TMC here, nice push to the upside. The metals company, this one has about a 9% short float. Of course, it's been on watch lately with this ongoing rare earth minerals, I guess, dispute between China and the U.S. Nice push to the upside for TMC. Then we have BLNK. Couldn't find a catalyst for this one. Blink Charging is now a penny stock, trading around 94 cents, but it does have a 30% short float. Then we have a 35% short float for SEDG. Solar Edge, actually now a small cap, just under $1 billion market cap, bouncing really nicely here after selling off yesterday along with these other solar stocks as the big beautiful bill continues to be assessed. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Adara. We just did have a not potential run, but this is where Apple is right now. So again, like if you take that short, it does go right back down into 197, but here goes the break right now. The market is just like screaming to the upside here. So we haven't really been able to get any pullbacks. Well, we got a little bit of a pullback there on Apple, but here it goes. So it looks like we will go down here with Apple as it looks like it wants to break out. I was getting out at 197, like basically a 197.50 break. So we're right here right now for Apple. So yeah, not a great look there on this short, but it still has a chance of coming through. We're short right now, 196.71, but we have averaged up into this trade, so it'll put me red there on the day, and I don't have any problems telling you guys that. So that will be red for me on the day if this does break out through. So yeah, should not have shorted Apple at those levels. We should have just been patient with it. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but this is what trading is, right? We talked about, the trades we've been making the last couple days, and today, there's 197.50. I mean, this is the level that we wrote down, and it's jumped off of there now twice. So good level look, but not great trading, as we should not have taken this. And as soon as we had sort of broke out, I know Neil got out here in the 50s or 30s, but as soon as that had broken, that was probably the right out. Like, I know it was a relatively significant hit there anyways, but now we'll wait to see what winds up happening with Apple. Hopefully there is a pullback. I could take some pain out now and just take 50-cent hit, which would be reasonable, but let's wait to see, man. We did peg out again, and it's not, I'm blaming myself. Like, this is just sitting here and not trading your own book or your own ideas. There's 197.50. So if I was short right now at 197.50, we'd be like, okay, you know, it kind of went to where we thought. Be patient. We talked about the most important aspect of trading is patience. Patience and share size. There's, you know, to me, once you have the idea, that's great. But if you're not patient and waiting for it, and if you don't put on risk, then that's a nice story. So let's wait to wind up what happens here with Apple. Definitely not working out on that Apple short. The Marvell long is working out, but we'll wipe out all those profits because we've just been getting out of everything. So we'll wipe out those profits with this Apple trade, and then that's that. But again, being red sucks, but the trade for Apple was right. At least I can understand where I screwed up, and that was not following my own plan. And again, for me, a hit like this on Apple, it's completely fine. I mean, it's not uncomfortable. But anyways, all right, so that's Apple. We're still gonna have to look for some more stocks. Nothing's really popping off on my scanner, man. Boeing, maybe Mara was trying to pop off a little bit, but that's been just like back and forth with VWAP, I thought. There, yeah, see, it's like nothing's going on. Maybe high a daybreak, I guess, just hit on the scanner, but that's not really doing anything. So, yeah, just a little bit of a down push in the market would be nice for me, but for right now, it's kind of flat on this high of 22.06. So we need to see what happens up here. Looks like it wants to push a little bit further. So yeah, man, the long was right today. Was expecting more of a flatter-ish day, especially when this started to happen. It was kind of like, okay, once we battle back into this area there, you know, the shorts could have worked, but then they didn't, and then there it goes upside. And it's like, when Trump talks, man, the market seems to want to listen. So he's extending the deadline now on TikTok. So that should be interesting as well. That's probably bad news for a Meta and bad news for a Google if they're extending it. They just keep extending. So there it goes, right? See, there's the news right here. So there's the extension on TikTok. There's the move down on Google. Probably a similar move here on Meta. Basically, TikTok deal will never get, it'll get done because it keeps extending. And I think it's going to be bad for Meta and Google because he keeps talking about it. So Meta not making much of a move, but Google is. All right, Neil, turn.
Let's go, everybody. We've got something new here with Trade the Pool. It's a behind the scenes look. It's the dashboard. And the dashboard tracks your progress in real time, your live stats, your profit, and more. You can break down every trade, see your entries, your exits, and how it played out in the charts. Check the certificates page for your full summary, achievements, and payouts. In this clip, that's Michael T. He's already earned over $75,000 in total payouts. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. If you're ready to level up, visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code that you see there on the screen. Shout out to that Michael T as well. Link in the description for Trade the Pool. Shout out to them. So we broke higher again. I've traded 3 different levels on Apple. You just got to move on to the next. So to trade each trade, take each trade as they come. This one, it finally put in a topping tail at the next key price level before you get to 198.5. There's the in, there is the out. First take in front of this one, it's 196.80 something, but I should be on, might as well just put it right at 197 or adjacent to it. And then if we break down, looking at that pre-market high as, yeah, like where I was getting out of the previous short that blew out, that's where I want to get out on this one. Just an update on Tesla. Tesla, the rocket ship, it bounced again off 322, so I trailed out of it. Still a rocket ship, up 2% to a market that's 0.5. So, you know, if you get away with short a stock that's literally one of the strongest ones out there, you should take the profit. It just comes down to it tagged the 325 level, gave us our entry, but showed no signs that it wanted to do anything more than give you the 2 steps down. Third one would be VWAP, but I'm out of it. ACB, kind of a snooze. I don't tell you, look, like I said, if it breaks VWAP, I'm out. If it doesn't break VWAP, I guess I'm just sitting in this one while it goes a little bit sideways here on ACB. Again, they report earnings. NVDA, it might finally be doing it. And that is breaking out above 145. So it looks pretty good right now. It's closed a couple of bars above. There hasn't been a pullback. It's right at this like yesterday's highs. Here, let me zoom it back out. Sorry, guys. Let you guys see it. I know where the high is, but let you guys see it. 145.44. This is yesterday's top. Kind of an arbitrary level. Nothing significant about it. Maybe you call it the $0.50. If we break out there, great. I'm looking for us to consolidate under and grab the long in front of the 145. So until we break yesterday's highs, I think buying into 145 is going to make some sense. Prior support right here would be the out 144.77. This is not a hold to VWAP situation. That's a little too far down there, being like 144.25. So I'm trying to get in 145 on NVIDIA, which looks it's finally relatively strong. The Nasdaq just broke out the high as well.
Oh, wow, dude. Let's fire off the hot dog cannon right there. Good trading there on Apple, making some of that money back. But here it is right now. Marvell now $3 in the money. And I just want to, again, like I made the bad call on Apple, that's for sure. But this Marvell trade long off this bottom, so far so good there. And then the reload as well. There goes Marvell. Like I did not expect 11% on this. But again, Neil and I giving you some trading ideas here for day trades and then also for swing trades. And Marvell was definitely one of those here today. Let's just have a look back to see if there's anything else going on in other markets. We talked about gold being a potential flight to safety here. And, the market doesn't look like there's too much wrong in this world right now. But gold also the same kind of thing, right? I mean, gold down here, market up. So that's making a little bit of sense right there for GLD. And again, I think there's something about that, right? I mean, right into here, 311 and change. Dip buys into the 50-period moving average have been really good for some gold. And then on the other flip side of it, let's go have a look to see, because again, if US is going to get involved, then oil probably should be spiking, right? Oil's going to the downside. So oil right now, so the market kind of feeling like tensions maybe in the Middle East kind of coming out a little bit, and oil coming back in, market going back up, gold coming back in as well. So some good talk there on all of that. And we hope for, resolutions and so on and so forth. Are there any names that are really starting to run? I mean, right here on eSignal, I have the hot list open up here. We want to thank eSignal. We want to thank Orogenics as well. Scan that QR code right there, find out more about Orogenics. But we've got SPY, Tesla, NVIDIA, Marvell, the Qs. These are all the trade rate from eSignal. Rocket Labs moving around a little bit there. QBTS upside as well. Okay, bring it back now, man. This could be a good trade here for Apple. It just needs to break back down below 197, man. We're only 30 cents out of the money right now. I am looking to get something out if we do break through 197, but if we've waited for this long, then hey, man, there it goes. I know I keep showing the sticky note, but we have written down here 197.50 for Apple. The high of the day is 197.52. So, oh man, I'm gonna slap a big fail right there. And this is what trader life is all about, man. Making decisions, understanding your strengths and weakness. And this time we did not appreciate enough patience in this example. So, I did slap the fail on myself right there for this kind of a trade. I'm gonna take out 5% right here at we just got O2s. And just because I know you know what? Taking out 5% is kind of useless, actually. We probably should have just waited for it. But here we go, man. Our day is back to roughly green. We just need that to drop, and we just failed there at 197. So, all right, it's 10:30, and we have which kind of a recap is it?
Here's a Bitcoin hanging out here around that 105 area. The daily chart, again, like I said, not super communicative here. We're definitely a bit range bound. We need to either break above that 110,000 level or break below 100,000. Both these levels pretty key. Let's see what Bitcoin does, but it's been consolidated for a little bit here. So definitely keep an eye to see if it breaks out of that consolidation. In terms of crypto catalysts, by far the biggest one today, USDC and stablecoins on watch, as we do have the Genius Act getting voted for approval here. Now we, at the Senate, now it needs to go back to Congress. 68-30 approving the Genius Act. Now let's take a look here at some of these other crypto markets and names. We've got BTC, as mentioned here, basically flat on the day. Ethereum down about 1%, still hanging on to 2,500 for now. XRP down 2%. Bitcoin and Solana both down a little bit here as well. Same with Tron, Dogecoin, and Cardano. So much like what we've seen recently, all of these crypto names trading together. Back to you.
They absolutely are. And ETH just maybe trying to break out here. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but Ethereum, it is too late. Shoot. Yeah, bull flag for ETH here. No, it's absolutely too late. Once you say that, now it's not going to break. Don't at me. But looking very, very strong. We've been ignoring it, but hey, we can trade that one now. Basically, what I was going to point out, though, is it hasn't really broken that top. Bitcoin, same thing. Like, you're consolidating, looking for that next leg to break out that. For IBIT, it's at 60 level. I'll have an eye on VWAP here. I like when you're bullish in IBIT to look for the VWAP retracement. Something that I'm pretty, like, I know Joe looks for the same thing. I'm sure he's probably looking at that as well. All right, fighting another sneeze. Okay, look what just happened at Apple at 97. It just bounced clean off that 97 level, headed right back into the high. If this ends up being the top where it broke down yesterday, then it needs to put in a lower high, respect that level again. It can be the right side of the V at this point when it wasn't earlier, but it's going to need to show some kind of a lower high in here, or like a false break of this top. Right now it's absolutely screaming to the upside. Just to give you an update, I'm no longer in the long on Circle. It's still trending higher. Hasn't done a VWAP retrace. There hasn't been much in terms of a re-entry here on Circle that I've been able to find. And for anyone looking at that NVIDIA, it still hasn't pulled back and given you anything into the 145. It also did not break out yesterday's high. So no break of yesterday's high, no dip back into 145. Neither of those two things happen. I'm not really playing with it until it either takes out the top or gives me the dip that I'm looking for. And hopefully it is the dip that we're looking for in NVIDIA. Looking relatively strong, finally, after, what does that look like? Like it probably trapped some shorts and wiped some people out underneath yesterday's low. So looking pretty good here in NVIDIA. Might just end up being a break instead of the dip. Yesterday's high, tagged it to the penny. 1 penny higher, and I'm long.
All right, so forget about Apple. What about Boeing? I mean, we just got to have Apple settle down a little bit. I don't know if it's going to go lower, man. Okay, but right here, we do know something about Boeing, and we've had some controversy with Boeing, of course, an unfortunate accident last week, and, you know, we did have a nice move down from 213 into 200 right now, and as we can see right here with Boeing, we have $200 potential break on that name, but I don't know, like, you know, that 205 is a great short there for BA, and just looking at it, nice move up. We just touched out into the closing print of yesterday into 201. There it comes back in a little bit now with Boeing. So yeah, that you know, could have been a short. You're looking at a little bit of a longer time frame here. Here's the 200 period moving average up to 201. $200.80 now fading back out for Boeing. So yeah, this looks like if we can retest up here near 201, let's play off that because we top wicked yesterday 201. There's 201 again for Boeing. So again, you know, if you're here at real trading, prop trading or anything like that, that's not, you know, going short at 201, giving yourselves 20, 30 cents worth of risk, that's a great trade because hopefully you can put on a little bit more shares and then just take a 2 or 3 to 1 because you go short at 201, get stopped out at 201.25, that's 25 cents. Even if you have 500 shares or something like that, you're losing that 100, 150 bucks, but the chance of it, you know, to get back into the downside right there, well worth it. Like right there, it was already a move lower. You do want to make sure you do scan that QR code on your screen right now to grab e-signal so you can look at those charts right now. Iran is issuing an evacuation notice right now for residents of Haifa. So not all good, but that's the most recent story there. They connect over 50 plus brokers, very extremely easy to use platform. And again, you know, if you're looking for European quotes or anything like that, it's e-signal is where you want to look. They completely entitled any market that you're looking for. Great customer service, over 500 symbols on your watch list, on charting, on any sort of a screener. We really like the screeners here. It's e-signal, trade smarter, not harder. Scan that QR code as you see on your screen. Let's go over to Adair and find out what she's all about.
Keep an eye here on the market. Hearing some reports here, or seeing some reports on X. Apparently an Iranian delegation for negotiation might have just landed in Oman. No confirmation, of course, but be aware it looks like apparently there's an Iranian negotiation delegation potentially in Oman. Back to you.
Okay, and then of course what Sean just mentioned with yeah, essentially they're talking about wanting them to evacuate, warning
they've been saying that.
They've been saying it for a while. It's look,
let's just hope it doesn't escalate.
Yeah, we know the geopolitical tensions are a big deal. The market's been shrugging it off to a great extent, and I understand that that doesn't sound the market doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening, well, nor the economy to a perfect extent, everybody. So you can be in a bull market and the whole world can seem like it's falling apart. That's why you try to respect the trend. So we did get a topping tail on Apple the first time. It bounced off 197. It just tagged again and came back underneath. And of course, the second I take it back down through the 40 level, I still have the same stop from before, so I'm not moving my stop. It breaks another high. Got to be able to get it. It's the only level that's actually VWAP worked for a little bit here. It's the only level that worked since the volume weighted average price, but since then, it's been nothing but upward trend on this name. It looks like it wants to break out that top. We did get 39s back in there, so my average price is going to be 38. I think I had like 37 before. Apple looking incredibly strong in here. ACB doing absolutely nothing for me. And NVIDIA, when I heard the headline, I put in the chat that I quickly canceled the breakout because I wanted to see what would happen next. That's why I'm not in the break, but I still want to take this one. But I got to show you guys Apple first, as that did come in and did break that high. I still like NVIDIA, but the second I heard Iran, I canceled the bid. I heard Iran evacuations. I canceled the bid. Didn't want to take a breakout on that news. And now, of course, it looks like it's going. So it's broken at 50. I'm going to look to join for less than at 40 if I have to take 50s. And hopefully I can buy back into that 40 level that I just canceled. I don't want to make a topping tail wick as news is coming out. We'll see if we still do.
So there you go, man. I guess, Apple's got the best of both of us here today. It's too bad because, you trade one name, puts me red. I don't know about Neil, but puts me red there today with Apple. So unfortunately, that's not moving in the right direction for moi. But what is, man? I mean, we'll take the hit on Apple, obviously, but we'll, take some of that comfort in knowing that at least Marvell continues to go higher. So, like I said, this is why we do the show, and this is why we trade, is we don't really know what's about to happen, so you just try to make your best guess, and our number one trade today was this one. We did have, and then we should be short right now on Apple at this price. So I'm short at 85s. We should be short at 50s. It is what it is right now. I'm 70 cents offside there on that Apple trade, but all right, SMR. We like that level at 39, right? And then that was a sticky note trade. It bounces cleanly off 39, but I wasn't looking long. I was looking short. So that trade does not happen. SMR just trying to find its way. I think it will be a short up there. We can look at Oklo. That was another big uranium name. And again, you would have just thought, and you see, here comes Apple pulling back again, right? So good thing we sort of didn't take that trade, but 196.85 right now. But there's Oklo. See, it's pretty choppy. Let's go back over this. We haven't even looked at Quantum. It's 1040 yet. QBTS. Let's have a quick look over there before we go over to Adara at the big screen. There goes QBTS. So again, Quantum looks like it wants to work. I feel like this name, let's go Apple. Get down, baby. That should be a good trade if it breaks lower, man. All right, so there it is, man. 114. My mind's still on Apple. 1475 or so right here for QBTS. I mean, this is a couple weeks worth of data right there. We bounced off of that. So whether or not I do believe quantum and nuclear names are all in bubbles and they're all going to fall back in at some point. But for right now, man, they're still holding higher. Let's just see what winds up happening. You can clearly see that these names are just headline driven. Like if Jensen says something negative about quantum, this is a $5, $6 name. If he says something positive about it, then it's $20 again. So, you're very headline based on all of this action right there. Come on, man. I know Neil just, and again, we all have our stops. I'm going to get some more out here. Oh, just bounced off of lows there into 197 change. I'm going to get something out. I just put a bid at 11s. I don't know. I hope we didn't stop that bid. It literally got to 11. I pushed bid, and then it shot up 10 cents from there. So let's see if Apple can come back in, man, right there. We should have 197.50 short, man. As it was written right there, we do not follow our own rules and wind up paying the piper on that one. So, all right, Adara's now over at the screen. Let's go find out what she's up to with some sort of a segment.
The sector board is an odd combination here of a lot of sectors that are basically flat and then some that are strongly to the upside. We'll start with these ones that are pushing to the upside here. Electronic technology, Broadcom, NVIDIA, and Apple all green. Then we got finance. JP Morgan pretty strong here, potentially due to the fact that we have the Genius Act being, voted on by the Senate. We know that JPM is reportedly trying to move into the stablecoin space. Retail trade strong here as well. Amazon and Walmart both green. Tesla leading consumer durables to the upside. Producer manufacturing green. And transportation green. Uber actually to the upside despite a Wells Fargo note suggesting that the company could face some competition from Google's Waymo. Let's talk about electronic technology here. Oh, sorry, tech services, my bad. Google, Microsoft, Meta, the three Mag 7 names in the sector, all flat. Oracle, Palantir, a little bit red here, and Netflix actually green, so very mixed sector here. But again, it's really a case of flat or green across the board. Back to you.
So it's a lot of flat stocks. Remember, it is a Fed day, so you do see a little bit of that happen, and especially as we get into the middle of the day here. So you do expect volumes to draw down a little bit. For the first time, after it ran the top, we broke the trend on Apple. And I'm gonna get back into it on the trend break.
That's NVIDIA. Oh, Apple.
No, I'm putting it over because I got to show NVIDIA.
I was gonna say, you're a harbinger for pain as well, man. Both of us here on Apple today.
Yeah, it's one of those where if it sets up, I'm gonna take it. So when it does the trend break, I'm gonna take it. It's a different setup than when you like, hey, this is my level. This is a level I want to trade off of, which still hasn't even gotten to 198.5, but it's a trend break. So I see it close under. I give it to the prior bar high, not the high of the day. That's the general rule. It's adjacent to the same thing. I'll get to NVIDIA in a quick little second for you here. Just want to make sure we have our stop order in. For NVIDIA, I treat dip buys. Some people will do two things at once. I treat dip buys and breakouts as separate. When we break out above, if you lose the breakout and don't go immediately, I want out. And I'm either dip buying in two places. If I can find a prior high, then that's what I'd work off of, which is, as you can see right now, where I'm bidding in front of 145, or VWAP. So right now I'm looking at 145. Next, I'd be looking at the volume weighted average price. And you just move on to the next opportunity. So trend break on trend break on Apple, NVIDIA trying to hold above that key 145 level. The break didn't go right away, so I'm trying to buy into 145. Do still want to, I don't want to give up on Bitcoin here. No pullback into VWAP, no break above 60, so it's still dancing and doing nothing. We can be patient, but something's got to happen eventually. And Palantir, which is now starting to look a little bit better. Palantir, you're not going to get 136. This is a name that I thought we'd be a little bit more active on, or I'd be a little more active on. It's showing you an uptrend, but what's really going on is topping out 139.5, and then 138 is your bottom. So I don't know that VWAP actually means anything right now on Palantir. It's basically showing you an obvious range you should trade off of. So unless it's holding above the top end of the range like NVIDIA started to do, I'm just going to wait for the lows on PLTR. It hasn't really done anything that I was expecting. So I'm not going to be jumping in at VWAP assuming that's going to be a good thing.
All right, man. Guess what's going right now? I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat because this is good news. A shout out to our Big Bear AI family that's here on the chat. Where were you? There you are. What's up, Rob Palmer? There it is. Have an Arnold Palmer. BBAI coming back nice like. Yes, sir. Big Bear AI right now up that 3%. Putting our swing trade account back into flat position on this potential on this stock here. And again, like my play for Big Bear AI was looking for this break. So if we can break that, I told you my first out will be around 6, which will be like a 50% return, and then after that we'll see, because these are just short squeezes, right? On Big Bear AI, it's not, and what needs a short squeeze is news. So. I don't know. So we'll wait for that. I'm looking to enter some more positions for sure. But I just have I have like a good position. Like I have a pretty full position on Apple. So I think we're gonna, let me just see what Big Bear AI's short float is. I know we talk about this all the, I don't want the news feed, my bad. On Big Bear AI, I need this details page right here. So let me go into here and check out BBAI and find out. I thought it was like 8 or 9%. Oh, 29%, sorry. Something I looked up yesterday was 8%, but there it is. 30% of the float is short. So, for me, that's a nice number, and especially if you are looking for the long there on Big Bear AI. But we do know that there is no money being made by this company right now, so we do not have a PE. So we'll have to wait to see that. It's only a $1.17 billion market cap. So this name should get going at some point, and we're here for when it does. get going. So that's Big Bear AI. We'll wait to see if it can blast through. You know, looking at some levels from yesterday for this name, again, like there's that 440 that we said stopped at completely. So I don't think we have enough. Well, I don't know. You know, yesterday we had the long rate here and it did this early. Then we came back into that same level and bounced again. So maybe Big Bear AI does come back into $4 and we're able to go on that one right now. Look, I think it's important that you guys understand, like for me on Apple, like if this just gets back to breaking through 197, we're flat on the stock on the day. So, and then all we have left is this profit. So we're still waiting. Like we just took some more out at 77.50 right now. Now we have about 10% left of our Marvell position. So a bunch of outs up here. So that's the profit that I'm resting on and then hoping that we can get a turnaround here for Apple. Just breaking back down below 197 gets me profitable, but I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. So we're gonna wait to see where that play you know, lands right now. You know, the biggest P&L name over the last 2 days, and I'm not even trading it, which is a problem, has been AMD. And we absolutely nailed that off of these levels yesterday. Yesterday's sticky note says 127 long on AMD. So yesterday, how good was 127? You know, this is 127. Sure, it goes down to 126.50. So you might have got stopped out. Some traders may have, but it doesn't even break 126.50. So if you're giving it 50 cents worth of space, then you good to go, baby, on AMD. And then look what happens today again. It falls right back into those levels. So if you're a trader, you know, which hopefully we all are, that's a level right there that you're gonna wanna look at if it does come back into play. And just like if you're shorting anything today, I know you were in and out there, I'm not sure if it was on NVIDIA there, but right there, 129.50 or so, maybe as a top tail there, but that's AMD in a nutshell. Gave you that same long again from yesterday. So sometimes it does pay for sure to look back and say, you know, like, I mean, here it is. You're not going to be able to see this, but it's 127. You can go back and find it right there from yesterday's trade note. And it printed again. So 127 and change there on AMD hits one more time. But yeah, that's that. It's 10:50 yesterday. We missed what's for lunch, so we're not going to miss it again. Let's go what's for lunch right now. As Miami Joe is back. Miami Joe thought it was the Money Talks, but no, Joe. We're going to go with lunch right now.
Denied.
Today, I think it's a good one. We've been a little bit tossed back and forth because Monday and Tuesday was kind of like a flip-flop. So I don't know what's going to happen today, but today is a true lunchtime. And today here in Toronto, Ontario, yeah, you got it right. It's assorted sandwiches. So it's assorted sandwiches right there. So we props up to Miami Joe there on that guess. It's assorted sandwiches, crudité with hummus and buttermilk ranch, and apparently Neil's favorite, fresh baked cookies coming through there as well. So I just wanted to say that
untrue.
Today. No, I know it's your favorite. That's fine.
It's a oatmeal raisin.
I love getting the note. Your car has now completely charged. So thank you so much to Real Trading. They put the charging station down there, so I just charged that bad boy up. And what I was trying to look at, I can't remember. So I'll put the phone away right there. I was going to look up something and tell you guys about it, but that was what was for lunch. Assorted sandwiches. Couldn't have been that. But that's what we're doing right now. Assorted sandwiches is what's for lunch. So enjoy, everybody. And I just got a note from my wife. What are we doing for dinner tonight? We have oh, I know what I was looking up. Barbecue? I don't know. I said let's barbecue some burgers. We'll make those, but then she's like, we got to leave at 6:30 tonight, and we have a meeting with the campus. As I think most of the hosts are going to go down there to the bar. I can only stay for one drink because of the game. But I wanted to look at what the weather was like because I know my guy Sharif was complaining about the humidity. It's an insane humidity out there right now. But it says feels like 26, so that's not too bad. You know, we'll get in the 80s right there today for lovely Toronto, Ontario.
I thought we were getting closer to 30 than that, so that's nothing. Just very quickly, there's I don't have any details on egg. Enigmatic. Enigmatic is the name of this IPO. Open for trade at $8, it looks like. Halted instant. I don't know. I'm calling it an IPO because that's what I saw in the news here. Open for trading. Anyways, it halted to the upside. It then went a bajillion% up, another $4 or $5 up, now halted to the downside. All of this movement that you see is 600,000 shares worth of volume. That's all I wanted to point out there. I know a lot of people were talking about this IPO. That's not a lot of volume. And it's in the no-fly zone for me as far as trading when it's that low volume. Like if you take the opening print and you find some size at the open, maybe that $8 had some support there and you could have played off of that. But that looks pretty nasty. Like look at the moves. Like it was just up at 13. It halts down at 3. I think you're going to see a little bit more of that. Oh, okay. I guess we're going to Money Talks before we can come back and update the trades.
So this egg stock, I looked into it. I was not seeing it on the Nasdaq IPO listing, which doesn't just include Nasdaq names. It includes any name. When you Google it, it comes up as an IPO. But then there's another place. If you go in Benzinga, I believe this ticker shows that it started trading back in April. So much like its name, is pretty enigmatic, and I don't have a lot of info on it, truthfully. I'll continue looking into it. But let's talk here about the U.S. dollar, because this is continuing to downtrend. I think more importantly, though, what's going on with the Fed? Now, we know Donald Trump, President of the United States, is not a fan of the Fed's decision to hold rates, and it looks like they're going to continue to hold rates. This morning, Donald Trump, in fact, said that he wished he could appoint himself to the Fed because he believes the rate should be at least 2 points lower, preferably 2.5 points lower. But again, we're not going to get that for quite a long time. We're expecting to hold rates steady at this meeting. The next meeting in July, 85.5% chance we'll hold the rate steady. Then in September, we actually are pricing in only a 25 basis point cut, 54.9%. If we look forward to October, I mentioned this, we've seen recently, we're expecting a little bit of a cut here. Now, depending on if we get that cut in September or not, this will vary. If we get the cut in September, then there's about 30.2% chance we'll get another cut. If we don't get the cut in September, there's a 46.4% chance we'll get the cut there. So a lot of this forward betting really depends on what happens at this meeting, guys. Back to you.
I'm really rich.
Yeah, we'll see. The comments are going to matter. I think economic data matters. How the economy is doing is going to matter. I love that name in the chat. I almost whatever. That's your name, so we're gonna read it. Dip Sniffer. Dip Sniffer. While you're sniffing out the dips today, this is the first one we're gonna get since the open. Can we talk about Upstart? We'll do that in a quick little second here for you. Don't mind talking about some Upstart. I haven't looked at it in quite a little bit, but Apple, it's like move on to the next. There's your topping tail. It broke a trend line. I'll redraw the trend line, which I had on another chart. So there's a trend line break. There wasn't much to look for in terms of trend until it broke out the top. And when there's a trend line entry, there's first support, there is second, maybe above, when I look at that, it's kind of above the 196.80 level. So that's where the bid is going to go. And at that point, if we get to VWAP, great. I don't think VWAP necessarily matters as much. I have a stink bid in case it breaks VWAP because the next support I think is underneath the 196. So that's that play. Yeah, we can look at some Upstart for you. If there's a catalyst for Upstart, I will first admit, hey, look, I don't know it. It's up 9%. I'm going to double check in a quick little second here if there's anything really specific to them. I know there was a nice little break of the 200 period moving average. What I'm concerned with is a lot of charts look like this, where you have some of the March highs, resistance, finally starting to break out. This already failed this top here at 60, trying to break these same levels, but sometimes the second time is a charm. I can't get behind chasing this move. I think when you get it, look, if you get this breakout, you're holding it, kind of like the Marvell break. But now you're getting into where the stock is sold off before, and it's hard to say, hey, look at Upstart, it's great, go join the long trade. Nah, this is right where it failed on a head and shoulders, and even if it breaks out 58, I think you just got to let this one breathe a little bit here. I just wouldn't be chasing this move. I think over 61 can be some kind of a swing trade next week if it can hold that. But the Upstart, a little bit frothy up here, at least to my liking. Given a Fed day, given the time of day that we have here, yeah, great long if you got it early, but it's not one I'd chase.
Yeah, look at Circle before we do that. Circle just completely blasting. I mean, I almost put this on the list today. for something to trade because of the stablecoin news. Like, I just wasn't sure exactly what that meant for Circle, but it means a lot of good things apparently. There goes Circle breaking through 164.50, which was that high rate there, and now it's gone up to 168, man, like I was saying, or like someone said in the chat, just take a few shares in Circle, which I think would have been a absolutely fantastic idea. And I don't know where the stock needs to go for me. Well, for me to get positive, this thing needs to break 197. So I'm going to take a little bit out here. We've just bounced off 197 a couple times. I just got an 11 fill there. I don't have any more bids until we actually start making some money on this stock. So breaking back below 197 so far here on Apple is what we're needed. Like, we're still in this position. And again, like, I have a big position in it. So I'm just going to sit in here and watch to see, because again, it's just one of the trade ideas that we've had, and we had it at 197.50. So I am just right now 60 cents offside on my trade idea. Just wish it would have been more patient for me. But if you do want to scan that QR code and you are interested in Origin, I would find that out. So go look it up right now. OGEN, symbol OGEN right there. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the US, yet there is still no FDA approved treatment. NYSE listed Origenics, symbol OGEN, is changing that with its first in class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access, with the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027. Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule your meeting today. Scan that QR code to learn more about Origenics right there. And don't be that lady holding her head after being in a car accident, apparently, right there. So, you never know where you're going to, have that accident. So doing good work there. Origenics, go check them out. Okay, so yeah, man, I told the wife, get some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'll barbecue those things up, man. Throw a little bit of sauce on there, get them going. The kids like that spicy Thai sauce, so that could be what is maybe
for dinner.
A chicken dinner winner right there. But we need Apple to get down. Marvell's already leading the way here today, man. It's been a good one. I'll end the session red with this position pending. But we're not, we're well in the pocket. We did hit our first day, our goal though, with Marvell early on, and I wish we would have sort of stopped right there and then gone to the beach with Miami Joe over there. But we got spicy there and got a little too excited with this Apple trade and just should have waited. And then if we had waited for 195.50, 197.50, oh boy, would we be having ourselves a day, but we did not. We tried to average it all the way in, so we do have this trade right now on Apple. We were looking for Palantir, SMR, and Apple today. So those were the four on my note. We traded two of those four and just never found our way into Palantir. So
it's actually looking, Palantir's starting to look better, to be honest with you, but Palantir didn't do anything that I was expecting today. Apple didn't either, but you take the trade based on the setup at the end of the day. And I think sometimes it's that early one under view that it works on Intel oftentimes, but Intel is not necessarily Apple. That's one thing to think about. So it's a setup that works on other stocks when you're consolidating underneath the bottom, but the market entirely too strong in here. I'm trading the setup. It's not about going green. If it gets down here, I'm not going green because I'll be 1 for 5. But it's about taking the next trade. This is a trend trade into the volume weighted average price. That's a different setup from what I had before. Before we get into it, you mentioned Circle. And we'll go to the midday guys in a quick little second. I just wanted to bring up its brethren. You know what? They're not related, but this is like the two big IPOs. So CoreWeave is not related to Circle in any traditional sense. I think some shorts just got trapped in this one too. This stock was breaking down under the lows, and now it looks like it's going to break out and make another high. I'm not paying for locates or anything like that. I think if you didn't short that opening range, forget about it. CoreWeave looks like it wants to join the party, breaking out at 170. It's almost exactly 175, but it's not. It's 175.5. Double top on CoreWeave. We've said if this stock makes a new high in the middle of the day, those breakouts have been essentially gold. This is what it did yesterday. It did one on Monday. Heck, it seems like it does it every single day. Like it breaks out somewhere in the middle of the day in the afternoon. If it doesn't, but if it does break a big level, you take it. So 175.50-ish on CoreWeave, that looks like. We'll see if the midday boys get it, or maybe they trade that egg stock, the new IPO. Either way,
They trade more than us, man. We didn't trade.
either way, we'll be back probably a little bit earlier because it's a Fed day, so you'll probably see us at like 150 or something, something along those lines. Volume could come down, but you still got the Bash Brothers.
All right.
See you a little bit later.
Sorry about Apple.
Yeah.